and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner. I'm here with Sean Bell.
Yes.
Matt Murray.
Yes.
And James Farley.
Hello.
If you're listening to us on YouTube, why not like and subscribe and write a little comment underneath iTunes? Then send us a review. If you're listening on PSMVP, please call the police because they're up to their old tricks again. Probably get back straight into it, shall we?
Yeah, why not?
Bit of a strange week for me. I don't know how much of this you guys have seen. Obviously, I've filled you in this morning because you had to listen to what I'm about to play you. But for those of you that don't follow me on Twitter, it's been a very strange week, and it started with a tweet from Spaces of Play, the developers of Future Unfolding, which is a great game that you should buy. It was a review quote. They've been doing this for a while, just posting out reviews and putting quotes that they like. And one of them I read, I thought, they've quoted me again there, and they've tweeted out my review again. Oh, that's nice. I clicked the link, and it went to someone else's website. Scrolled down, and huge chunks of my review were copied and pasted and posted on a website called PSMVP. Now, before I go any further, I should make sure that it was just this one reviewer that seemed to be nicking reviews. It wasn't just my review that was stolen either. It seemed to be most of the stuff that this guy was writing, and I'm doing those little finger quote things. So I thought, I'm going to take a screenshot of mine, screenshot of theirs, tweet it out, bit of a look at these guys, and that'll be that. That wasn't that. That was not that. That was the start.
Beginning.
That was the beginning of what turned out to be quite a story. So I instantly got messages from his name on the internet is called Fedde, Fedde. He was on Twitter. His profile says that he likes. He says he's a member of PSMVPS, but I just assume he hasn't updated his biography yet. He likes Disney apparently and Star Wars. So
same company.
Yeah, he sent me a message saying, "Hi, I just wanted to explain what happened. Can I DM you?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And his explanation was just like, "Oh yeah, I nicked your review."
Explain what happened.
Points for honesty, I guess.
Pasted it.
Yeah. And let me because initially I thought, well, I'm assuming this is a kid wanting to get into gaming for free games, and it just completely bottled it when it come to writing, and so went around the internet and stole reviews. And passed them off as his own, and that's what I thought happened. But it turns out no, he's just a bloke that's a cunt, that actively goes around stealing from people and passing it off as their own work. And as I said on Twitter and stuff, I don't consider myself a writer. My primary focus when it comes to video games coverage is podcasting. I love podcasts. I love radio. That's what I want to do. But Spong, since I started podcasting for them, they asked me to write reviews, and fine, okay, I'll give it a go. That's the thing. So I don't have sort of a personal attachment to that side of things, and because it's not my job, I found it hard to get truly angry about it. But I wasn't the only one he was stealing from. And I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, if someone else, had their stuff, so he could get in so much more trouble than just a little jokey tweet that I put out. So, I mean, dangerous for him, dangerous for the site that was publishing them. So anyway, that all happened. I said, don't worry about it. Ain't that angry. Never do it again. I hope you've learnt your lesson, because it's the internet. It's 2017. You put something up, you're going to get caught out. Yeah. Although it was crazy that it was literally only a tweet from Spaces of Play where I picked it up, but it was weird. Right. So that was that. That was dealt with. I'd drawn a line under it, and we were moving on. There was a post up on the website saying, okay, we've removed this guy's reviews. Sorry, something's happened. And I thought, well, it's a bit weird that they haven't explained or who it was, but fine. Then there was another post on their website saying this guy Rise Up 44 had left. And I thought, I wonder what's happened there, if it's connected. Maybe not. I don't really care. And that was that. until Rise Up 44 started DMing people, and inboxes were going crazy across the video game. That was so. Andy messaged me and said, "What the fuck is going on here?" and showed me what Rise Up 44 was sending him. The guy's name is Jason. We found out a little bit later, and I mean, the accusations that were flying about. So Andy sent me a message saying, "Why is this guy PMing me about this stuff?" So I sent Rise Up 44 a message saying, "What the fuck are you doing? Stop DMing people that I know. This is weird. If you've got something to say it at me." Right? And the guy apologised and then went on to say that there are other reviews up there that have been stolen and they are not being taken down, and that's why I'm not on that site anymore. I don't know what the fuck is going on or what they're planning and blah, blah, blah. And I thought, whoa, what's going on here? So my next task was to try and get a comment from the website, and I thought, we'll talk on Skype, I'll record it, I'll play it out. So I got hold of a guy called Colin who runs the site, and I spoke to him last night. Okay, so I'm here with Colin Martin. Colin, do you run PSMVP?
I pretty much manage it
right
now. There's a few people at the top, but I'm pretty much doing everything right now.
So tell us about the site. Tell us about how it come about and what you do.
PSMVP started last year when the official PlayStation MVP program was ended by PlayStation. A group of us kind of got together and said, "Hey, we want to continue this thing. We want to make it our own and make it into what we feel it should be." So that's basically what we've spent the past 15 months doing.
Right. Okay. So let me tell you how I found out about your site, and then you can say from your side of things what happened. So a while ago, when the game Future Unfolding come out on PC, I reviewed it for our website Spong, and I followed the developer and stuff. I loved the game. I was a big fan, so I was sort of keeping tabs on how they were doing. And I saw them tweet a link with a quote saying, "Here's a review," and it was my quote. And I was like, "Okay, cool. They're putting my review out there again." So I clicked on the link, and it went to your site. At the top, the guy's name was Fedde. Was it? What's his name?
Right. Yeah,
So
that's right.
Fedde had written this review, which, as I read through it, clearly was copied and pasted from my review on Spong. Now, I'm not a full-time reviewer. I don't consider myself a writer. I do this podcasting. That's sort of my main focus. But Spong asked me to review games and stuff. So, I didn't really, I wasn't really kicking off about it. It's just something I picked up on, and I put this tweet out there. And I'll be honest with you, since then, the weeks got weirder and weirder.
Right, for us too.
So what happened? So you saw this, you must have seen this tweet at some point, because I think I copied your website's Twitter.
So I was on my way to work the morning the review was posted. It posted at, I believe, 5 a.m. my time, and I was on my way to work before 7 a.m., and I noticed my phone lit up with a notification. And it looked like someone was talking about our review. I was like, "Oh, cool." So when I stopped the car, I kind of looked at what it was and saw your tweet, kind of looked at it, and my heart kind of skipped a beat. And I was like, what's happening? So I went, I looked at your review. I looked at, his review, and immediately called my supervisor, for lack of a better word, the guy that I run everything with. I was like, crap, what do we do? Immediately we took down all of his pieces that he had written as quickly as we could get to it. And then I kind of waited for him to respond to me to see what's happening, and if he had an explanation or what happened. But so long story short, he's no longer writing for us, and he's not a part of the program.
So there was a number of reviews that he was doing the same thing. How did he get involved with the site? Was he just one of the community that got involved, or?
this is the hardest thing. Is he was a former PlayStation MVP, like the rest of us. He was right there with me when we started PS MVP. He's been one of our biggest supporters through the entire thing. Always retweeting, hosting streams. Just been the guy that's always been there for you. So his explanation was that he was afraid he wasn't able to live up to our standards. So he went to other reviews to look for help and advice and ideas. Things just got a little bit out of hand, and he ended up copying a couple of reviews and submitting them to me.
Right. So Fedde PM'd me and sort of said, things just got out of hand, and I was fine. I said, it's cool, don't worry about it. And then out of nowhere, this guy called Rise Up 44 was DMing everyone. I mean, we were all getting DMs from him. And he's made some pretty wild accusations about what he was getting from you guys since this all blew up. And I wanted to ask you about that. Now, he's been saying that there were other reviews and he was told to keep quiet, and then he was pushed off of the website and stuff. What happened between you and him?
Well, we are under NDAs through PS MVP.
Yeah.
That's what keeps everybody safe and what helps developers feel comfortable working with us.
Yeah.
Because we protect their privacy. So I can't really discuss what goes on internally through PS MVP.
Right, okay.
In the case of Rise Up, we had some disagreements with things in the past, and he was ultimately removed from PS MVP. I can't discuss reasons why, but he had to be removed from our ranks.
So sort of a disgruntled employee, you think, with all this shit?
A little bit, yeah. But I mean, I don't want to speak bad of him. He's been very supportive in the past and very helpful. He wrote a few pieces for our site when it first launched, and he's brought a few opportunities in for us, and we're very grateful for what he has provided to us in the past.
So that was my conversation with Colin. What did you guys think? Because you've all heard it now.
This feels like Serial. This is the new Serial. Next episode.
He certainly sounded like he wanted to draw a line under the whole thing, of being like, it's fine, we've sorted it out, it's fine. But then, the next one is a bit different.
Hang on. Making your contributors sign NDAs, is that literally what he's saying?
I will come to that.
Yeah.
Because there's an overall message and feeling I've got from this whole thing that I want to express. But you might have picked up there during that interview that there's clearly something weird going on between Rise Up 44 or Jason, the guy that was DMing me, and Colin. And so I thought, okay, let's talk to Jason. Hey, Jason. How's it going?
That's going good, man. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. It's a bit of a strange week for me. I don't really. I sort of got wrapped up in this thing that I wasn't really expecting to. I saw the.
You and me both, man.
So what happened was, this review stuff happened, and
yes.
Then you guys started getting DMs from you. You were upset with how it was handled. What happened there? Because when did you find out about the copied reviews on the site?
Okay, so this is what happened on Tuesday. A friend, one of my close friends in there, said, "Hey, did you hear about what happened?" Fedde, who's the username Fedde, he was the one that he stole some reviews from several different reviewers, and he. Hey, he stole some reviews. You got to check it out, this and that. Everybody's kind of meeting up we use the Discord. We use Discord for communicating.
Yeah.
And so we all kind of met up in there, and everybody was kind of just like, all right, here's the facts, and this is what happened. So then everybody kind of started okay, well, if this is what happened, then, he should probably be removed from the program. And it kind of formed into a sort of vote, kind of like how we've dealt with a lot of issues and problems in there over the last year, and it just kind of spiraled into, well, he should be kicked, and then the management team, who is led by CMD Colin. He came in and he made a statement that said I decided to suspend Fedde for 90 days, and the majority of the people were calling for him to be removed. So it was kind of like a shock, like, wow, that's not really enough. It's a big deal, and so that's when I kind of went on. I just went silent. I was pretty disappointed in that decision, and then I saw the post that was made earlier on psmvp.org about that it was a very vague post about there was a issue with one of our reviewers. There was an issue with some of our reviews. We've handled it internally. And after I saw that, I was like, that doesn't really handle it. Like, my mind started kind of turning, and then I started kind of looking, and I heard that, some people were talking on your Twitter, and I started reading, and then my mind's going, and I'm like, this is not right. This is not morally right. Like, one, it's illegal to plagiarize. Two, it's like, you can't just delete what happened and expect it to go away. There's other people involved, and they should be notified. I strongly felt that everybody involved should be notified immediately. And that just didn't happen. Wednesday came, didn't happen. Then Thursday, early morning Thursday, I just happened to pop onto the website, psmvp.org, and that's when I saw that there was a third review. So Tuesday, there was the 2 reviews that were found that were plagiarized. And on Thursday, 2 days later, is when I found the third plagiarized review. And I was just like kind of blown away that all his stuff wasn't taken down, or at least maybe the site taken down, if not, just until the whole thing was looked through and made sure that everything was legit, because it is such a serious, issue. And so I contacted team management, Colin, and I let him know. I said, hey, man, like, this is what's going on. There's a third review. You got to take it down. And he said, no, I looked at it earlier today. Somebody that I had talked to had told him that there was a problem with it maybe a couple hours before I told him. I was at work. And when I got home, I had notified him. And he said, no, there's no problem with it. It's only a few phrases. It's only a few sentences.
Right.
And I said, whoa. No, you can't play this down, man. Like, this is a pretty big deal. And I said the team should be notified, and everybody involved should be notified. The authors, the new authors, now of the third article, should be notified. And it was like, no, like, it's already been handled. Like, basically, like, hush, hush. And I just wasn't feeling it. So that's when I went into the general, and I just said, listen, this is what's going on. There's another one. There's a new one. And, it's not okay. It's illegal, this and that. And they kind of just, like, were not happy. Him and his kind of like his 2 people that help him out with the site, and kind of like leadership role type people. They just kind of ganged up on me. It really felt like I was being bullied. It did. It felt like high school. This whole thing has kind of felt a lot like high school. And it really did. It felt like I was just being ganged up on, and one thing led to another. And, I just started kind of pushing back, and then it got to a point where I got a private message saying, hey, now is probably a good time for you to go quietly. And like I said, they all kind of jumped on me, and that was it. We got into an argument, and they said, see you later. And I went my separate way. And, I probably would have not followed up and kind of let it play out. But then all of a sudden I see they put up a post on psmvp.org right above the one that they made on Tuesday about there being an issue. There being an issue with one of their reviewers and some of their reviews. And then they made a new statement on Thursday saying they're parting ways with me. The only problem is every single person that's messaged me said it looks like I'm the one that did it, because of the 2 articles are side by side.
Of course, yeah, because they didn't actually name Fedde in the. Yeah, no, that's a good point.
They haven't named. This is the thing. And I talked to Fedde. I said, Fedde, what happens from? I talked to Fedde on Tuesday. I said, Fedde, I private messaged him. I said, what happens from here forward is not personal. I said, what you did was wrong. You know what you did is wrong, but what I do from here forward isn't personal. It's just what's right is right. Like what I just said, what's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong. And I don't know. I just, now that this new thing, like I was like yesterday, I was feeling good, weight off my shoulders, and then I got the email. Hey, take a look at psmvp.org. It looks like you're the one that did it. I'm like, what? Did what? It looks like you're the one that did the plagiarizing, because they never named anybody that did it. And then all of a sudden you guys are parting ways. So I'm like, you got to be kidding me, man.
As you know, I've been trying to get in touch with anyone from the site. Fedde has turned me down several times, but I have spoken to Colin. I spoke to him earlier, and he was saying that he can't really talk about things that happened on the site due to NDAs that you signed or something.
Correct. I can, because I'm no longer part of it. So they kicked me, so I can say whatever I want now.
But you didn't actually sign a contract saying that you can't. I mean, there's...
No. I signed a contract. I'll send you the contracts right after this. And it's an NDA and a voluntary agreement. You know, you're a volunteer of the psmvp.org. Basically, they're not going to pay me for my services. They had us sign that a couple months back.
Yeah.
It just basically, it covers the organization basically from things like that. If somebody plagiarizes, it doesn't, it as long as they handle it correctly, it shouldn't fall back on them. But, if
you wanted my advice, I would say that, I mean, getting lawyers involved and stuff, I understand why you would look into that, but it's just best to just cut it now. And that's hard to do for something that you worked on for that amount of time and all that. I just think it's to a point where you just think, okay, that's done, that's over with now. And just move on to your own thing. I'm totally with you, man. That is my plan. That is 100% the plan, unless the post on the site, on the main page of the site, stays the way it is right now, and I continue getting messages asking if I'm involved. Have you asked them to change it?
I don't have any more connection. I don't have any contact with anybody over there anymore. They actually, the minute that they removed me from there, they completely deleted everything, so I have no way of contacting them.
So I mean, the listeners will want to know how can people find out what you're doing now? And
that'd be great. I appreciate that. I got a website, naliogaming.com. My Twitter is @RiseUp44 or @NalioGaming. Basically I do everything on YouTube, youtube.com/c/NalioGaming.
Now, in my book, I don't know who's in the right or wrong. I don't really care. It's just quite interesting to listen to people, what they call it, hang their laundry out in public or some shit. I don't know what the phrase is, Matt. Do you know? You know the English language, don't you?
The dirty laundry.
Their dirty laundry, I think it is.
Yeah, something like that. And it just, like, the feeling that I got is that this Colin guy was... I don't think he knew anything about it. I genuinely don't. And I think he got caught up in it and he sort of panicked and he didn't really know how to deal with it. And maybe he wasn't clear enough with his statements, whatever. I don't think he's a bad guy at all. And I don't think Jason is either. I think he's someone that's taken it from a different angle, seen it from a different angle, and the two sort of perspectives clash. The overall feeling I get from this, and I'm assuming people from PSMVP are listening, and if you are, please listen to this. I said that we've been doing stuff like this. I mean, how long have you been doing Dark Zero and Midnight Resistance, Sean?
Jesus. 10, 12 years, something like that.
10, 12 years. And it's been the same with me when we started JoyPod and we, got on Play Radio and Spong and stuff like that. It's been about 10 to 12 years. And we've seen lots of communities sort of pop up around us, and a lot of them fall apart quite quickly or last a while, and then it ends in a messy way and stuff. When you're doing a sort of community-led project like this, the number one rule is to not take it too seriously. Now, some of the phrases that they were using in those interviews then, talking to a supervisor, voting, what was it?
Signing
the
contracts.
NDAs?
I want to know all about the contracts. The contracts are fascinating.
He didn't send me the contracts, by the way, and I didn't ask for them. I'm
sure.
I don't
I'm
want to
supposed
get
to make you
involved.
sign a contract.
I mean, lawyers, talking to lawyers, it just, honestly, you've got to see this for what it is. The only people that should be truly angry about this are the developers that provided them with code. Because at the end of the day, they're doing their job to try and they're relying on people like you to try and spread the word of their game throughout your community, because they rely on those sales, and you fuck them. You know, the fact that you've posted up this dodgy review has fucked them. And that's, again, not blaming PSMVP for that. I'm not blaming Colin for that. Although, if some of the accusations that Jason was flying around were true, then I do kind of think, hold on, mate, this does sound a bit dodgy, and that you were trying to cover things up and leave up websites that you knew were plagiarised. Who knows if that's true? It's one person's word against the other. But the moment you take it to that level and take it that seriously, my experience is it's not fun anymore. Like, what's the point in doing it in, you know, what I assume is your spare time? What's the point in doing it anymore? It's only it's always going to lead to arguing and falling out and anger, and, you know, it's ridiculous. So if they can take anything away from this, it's maybe step down a peg or two and just start enjoying it again. Because fuck me, this is weird. Having a fallout over this is insane.
I mean,
to the level that it's got to.
I mean, obviously, Dave, you've looked at it, but Matt and James, have you looked at the website?
Yeah, I've been on it.
I mean, website is generous. It's a blog. It is.
Right,
It's an off the shelf blog. Like, I know that's really harsh, but like this. So in the About Us page, it explains that apparently, what was the PlayStation MVP program? I have no idea what that is. I've never heard of it.
I spoke to them because those interviews were cut down. They were edited because they were long, right? The first one with Colin was like 10 minutes long. The second one with Jason was about 20 minutes long. And, you know, I didn't want to take up too much of the show with this, but I realised that we already have taken up way too much of the show with this. But so I asked them, you know, what was PS MVP? And by the sounds of it, the feeling that I got was it was a community set up by Sony to promote Sony gaming, right?
Oh, okay.
So they would have MVPs that would stream for them and do community work for them,
right?
And they would then, like, in return, fly them out to E3 and, you know, do stuff like that. And then they realised that they weren't getting much of a response back from that, so they killed it. And the people that were involved in the official one set up this sort of blog, this side thing.
Okay.
And I mean, that alone is pretty. You don't think about that, do you? I mean, Sony have set this thing up. They've built a community, you know, obviously to utilise them and take advantage of them is a bit of a strong phrase, but that's essentially what they're doing. They're using them for marketing purposes. And, you know, they've detached themselves from the human element of, hey, you might have brought people together to become a nice group of friends here, and now you're just turning around and going, yeah, fuck it, we ain't doing that no more.
From my point of view, someone who's just come to the site, so yeah, you know, it says like the purpose is to get involved with the various communities across the PlayStation ecosystem and support developers. We're a community with a voice to represent gamers and communicate with game makers to guide the community with a voice of reason. Blah 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 blah. There's not even a forum. I don't. How do you even? I mean, there's a Twitter account and a Facebook page.
What's the portal about?
Well, I don't know, but you can't unless you've already got an email. I assume that's just for contributors to the site.
But Sean, I ain't been funny. I'm like, don't take this offensively. Your website was a bunch of square pictures with a few words on it. Like,
yeah. But we've never claimed it was anything. But we don't make anyone sign NDAs, and we don't.
No, I know what you're saying. But my point is that we're not putting their website down.
How, Sean? Yeah. I've got to disagree there. I'm on the Midnight Resistance website now, and it says. The Midnight Resistance program purpose is to get involved with the various communities across the gaming ecosystem and to support developers. That sounds very similar to this website, Sean.
Also to highlight when gaming podcast formats are dead.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And then try and defend themselves by saying, I'm standing by that. Fuck off, Chris. You know, fuck all, mate. What a load of old shit. Anyway,
so your point was that, yes, like it is fine for a website to just be that. But it's when people are taking it way too seriously. Like, I mean, we've talked about this before. I always find it really odd when small websites appear to sort of ape the larger ones. Like, you're not IGN, and that comes, like, that is in many ways a gift. Like, it means you can do whatever you want with it. You don't have to just churn stuff out. And yet, I mean, I've glanced at a couple of the reviews, none written by any of the people who you've spoken to, but I mean, they're not. They're pretty rubbish. They're not great.
Well, hold on, they're probably mine.
That's true. So I'm struggling to get my head around what this site or who this site is for, other than maybe some people who just wanted to keep getting free games.
Sean, it doesn't matter. I don't think there's a problem with the site. I think there's a problem with. Hold on.
Rewards. Have you seen that?
No, what's that?
What's that?
If you go to live streaming and it's got earn rewards and you can get stuff from doing it.
Yeah, but doesn't it say the site where they do the rewards thing is shutting down on the 16th of June?
Yep.
All I'm saying is that I'm not here to take the piss out of anyone or to rip into the website or whatever, because we're all involved with projects on an amateur level. What I'm here to say is, like, fucking chill out, lads. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need meetings. You don't need, like, lawyers involved. It's insane. And I'm also here to say, Fedde Campo, if you're listening, you're a prick. And I hope that whenever your stuff turns up on other websites, it gets tracked down straight away, because at the end of the day, you've let Colin down, right? If that's all worked out the way that has been said, and I haven't been lied to by Colin, you've let him down. You've let the fucking developers down, because they've provided you with code that you've essentially stolen, and you're just ripping people off. You can't do that shit. You just can't do that shit. I will say, I totally agree with Rise Up in that second audio you just posted. Obviously, on the website it says there's a post about the statement about reviews, and one of our writers was recently involved in an incident regarding a couple of reviews. 2 posts later, thanks a lot, Rise Up 44. Thanks a lot, and good luck. Like, they've totally thrown him under the bus there.
Yeah, it does look really shitty. Yeah.
They have, but then at the same time, when I asked him, "Oh, have you asked them about it?" and he said, "I've got no way of contacting them."
Yeah,
that's not true, is it?
Twitter.com.
It's a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's got their email addresses, presumably.
Yeah. There is absolutely ways to contact them. It's the whole thing's weird.
Impossible, David. Impossible to contact them now. Off the grid.
I mean, it's like, just to echo what Dave said towards the end of his interview with Jason, is like, yeah, just start doing. I mean, he's got his own project now, right, separately from PSMVP. So yes, just go back to doing it for yourself, man. Like, it is really easy sometimes if you're part of a community to care about it way too much. Like, I'm sure there were people on there that he was good friends with or whatever, and obviously that sucks that he's presumably not going to be talking to them so much anymore. But like, it's easy to get involved in these things, and like, when me and Andy and everyone else used to write for Dark Zero, and like, that's like, I mean, the website's actually all right now. There's one of the guys who's still running it and doing all right at it, but at the end of the day, we left.
Sean's and going back to after Midnight Resistance died. No, it's actually really good now. It's really cool.
But it's not like us leaving. That really wasn't a big deal, but it did kind of feel like it at the time, and because it's easy to just sort of get wrapped up in the bullshit of these things, and just get out, get some space, do your own thing. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and for people still at PSMVP, it's, I guess a rebrand might work. I mean, control yourselves, like, call yourself Control C. That'd be a good name for a rebrand. CMP MVP. These are all good names.
But no, and when he was talking about, the community getting together and it feeling like bullying, to be fair, I hear that's how Kane and Rinces run anyway. So, and they seem to be doing all right so far. Leon, fucking nightmare apparently. You didn't hear it from me.
I mean, Leon made us sign contracts just for him to come on our show. So, God knows what it's like over there.
Anyway, thanks for that. It was a bit self-indulgent, a bit weird. I hope you enjoyed listening to that. If not, then fine, I apologise. And the only way we'll go back to talking about this stuff is if Jason and Colin get on one Skype call with me during the week and I can mediate this, and it could be like Jerry Springfield. That's the name, isn't it, Jerry Springfield?
Yes.
My brain is going
Jerry
mental
Springer,
tonight.
but
Springfield. Jerry Springer.
I thought you were doing that on purpose, Dave. But
I wasn't. Jerry
You're such a dad. What are you kids into? It's not even a relevant. It's not even a recent reference. No one listening to this is going to understand who that is.
Matt, I've had a really weird week, mate. I've gone from having
Jerry
the best day of my
Springfield.
life on Saturday to being wrapped up in someone's internet drama. It's been weird. Right. Speaking of internet drama, has there been any follow-up this week, Matt?
There hasn't been much. We're still getting on with this dabbing drama. The drama being, well, it's not a drama, but I was fairly confident it was a dab. Other people seem to disagree with me, but Ryan Harmon has got the last say on this. Essential still arguing about Donkey Kong doing a dab or not in Mario Kart. Here's a bit of history. Though the dab was created by the Atlanta-era rapper Skipper the Flipper and amplified through his contemporary Migos in mid-2015, it didn't reach international notoriety until the American football man Cam Newton of the Carolina Panthers dabbed during a game in November 2015. Mario Kart 8 was released in May 2014, some 18 months before the dab took root in cultural psyche. Therefore, if he is dabbing, it's a massive coincidence and not probably a reference to a dance.
Well, unless the
excellent.
dance was based on Mario Kart. Maybe he was playing Mario Kart and said, boom.
Really good point.
I've got a little bit of follow-up. I think he does do the dab on the every 30 turns. I saw it the other night and I was like, oh yeah, that's a dab.
okay,
So,
can this be an end to this now?
Yeah, I
Yes.
think so.
Yeah,
I think
Good.
we're done with it.
It's the end, and we've agreed that I was right with a draw line under it. That's
Well, I
that.
don't think anyone... No, Matt, I don't think anyone was right or wrong. I wasn't saying he definitely wasn't doing a dab, but I was questioning it. And I wanted someone of some sort of credible age to confirm it. And we still haven't had that. The only confirmation we've had is from...
Jerry Springfield.
Yeah, but I admit that I'm old. You still cling on.
Yeah, I bought a skateboard a few weeks ago.
You haven't. Have you really?
Yeah, it was a few months actually now. But yeah, I'm having a
Matt,
proper
are you
midlife
fucking
crisis.
kidding me? You actually bought one.
No, I want to do an ollie before the end of the summer. I've always wanted to do one, and this is my chance.
I want to do an ollie before the end of the summer.
Yeah,
you
'cause
know
when
the
I
sort
was
of
younger,
people
I
that
used to
say
like-
that.
I used to like blade and quad.
Children.
You know, yeah, well, probably. No, because there was a skate park down the road, and I'm like, do I? No, I don't. No, I'll just keep doing it in my back garden.
I'm just
This is
right. So I don't want to laugh at this because obviously, like, it's not easy to do, and fair play to you for buying it and just
why
deciding
have
that's
you got
something
to
you
be
want to
understanding,
achieve.
Sean?
But
Why have you got to be understanding and not? Why don't you speak your mind?
I've got this image of Matt with all his elbow pads and his knee pads and a little helmet on just outside the front of his house, just
Yeah.
trying to do it.
Just
And
like
everyone
You like making ramps and stuff, Matt? You know, like,
Yeah, I'm a bit of a half pipe.
Matt, you are literally you're a t-shirt away from being Steve Buscemi in a school.
I know.
Literally, it's insane.
I'm not even that cool though, so I'm way worse than that. I'm having a proper midlife crisis. I mean, grown a beard, bought a skateboard.
I think
What
you
else?
are.
Matt
bit-
just comes home with a
thinking about
skateboard and
thinking
his
about-
wife just starts crying.
Yeah. Basically, she insisted she was not in the toy shop when I bought it.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, she was not
Oh,
going to follow me
God.
into Smith's, and I was like, I bought a sick board for 20 quid, and I spent about an hour and a half on Sunday taking all the bearings out and putting WD-40 in them so they roll like a dream now.
see, also knowing you, Matt, you probably spent quite a long time researching this skateboard as well. I'd imagine.
No. I 2 summers ago, last night, I bought an £80 skateboard because that was one I really wanted. This was just some cheap thing because I'd probably give up. But
Jill
Yeah.
finding a stack of what skateboard magazines underneath Matt's bed and just going, oh, for fuck.
yeah, my Instagram feed now is just basically people with beards, it's skateboarders, and people with tattoos. So I'll probably get a tattoo next, and that'll be the end. When that happens, that's when I'm
You're
going to kill
gonna
myself.
get a tattoo of Tony Hawk on your back, but with a beard on.
So, Matt, do you like hang around skate parks and like shout stuff like sick moves at
He
people?
can't
And
hang around skateboards looking like the way he does now. He'd get arrested in seconds.
No, I do drive past one every day because there is actually one in my local town, but
Do you know,
I'm not going there doing that.
So I used to, when I was like first getting interested in photography, so it was like, 10 years ago. And I was thinking, and playing the skate games, I was like, it would actually be cool to learn how to do photography properly and like photograph people at skate parks, right? And yeah, and it's like, now that I'm actually okay at photography, I couldn't just go and fucking do that.
Come on, lad, get up really high.
Yeah. I'll just lie down under here and point the camera up.
I'll learn to do an ollie, and you can record. We can take
Yes,
a
that's
photo
it.
of me.
No one gets arrested or put on a list.
Exactly.
Tremendous
win.
Scrape your knee. Right, okay, so we're still doing follow-up, I think.
No,
aren't we?
that's it. Mike Petit 89 asked if who keeps burping on the show. I don't remember if there's burp sounds.
Right, every
we've heard
time
that a
I've
few
asked, 'cause
times now.
Yeah, we've heard that a few times. Every time I've asked, I've said, "Can you give me timestamps?" Because I want to hear it. Because I usually pick up on that sort of shit. And it seems to be when Sean is about to say something, he goes, "There's two things. One of them, you do this."
I know. I'm getting really aware of that, and it's pissing me off.
Who could ever think that's a burp? That'd be
We've
the
all got
weirdest
that.
burp of all time.
No one thinks that's a burp. That's that people think that's me vaping. Right? It's not.
Oh yeah.
Because I cut those ones out. The other bit, Sean does this when he's about to say something, but about to jump in. He goes like that.
Do I?
And he just before
weird.
he starts talking, yeah. And you did it a few times a few weeks ago, and someone said, I think it was Steve said, "Oh, you got the burping. Here's the timestamp." And I listened to it, and it was you going. Like that, and I was like, "Oh shit, okay,
that's
it's
gross,
Sean."
man. Sorry, everyone.
It's not gross. No, you're not burping. You're
no,
going,
I know, but the fact that it just sounds like I am, but actually I'm just going. This is gross.
It's not burping, Sean. We're literally talking about it. You just did it.
It's all right, Sean. Whenever anything like this happens, I just get blamed anyway, so you're fine.
That's true.
Oh, a little violin for James. Look, he wants to be, sympathy. Oh, I get blamed all the time, mate. Oh, don't worry about it, Sean. I'm the bad guy of the piece. Fuck off, James.
Oh, yeah,
You're right,
I
though.
just
What's
did
up?
3 hours of body cough, and now look, get blamed for everything.
Oh, I get blamed for everything, like the time that I forgot to hit record and that. Fuck off, James. It has turned on him. I don't know. Right, okay.
That's very much it for follow-up. If you want to leave us feedback, it's at ComputerGamePod on Twitter or thecomputergameshow@gmail.com.
We got quite a bit of news this week, haven't we?
Yeah.
Do you know what?
What sort of thing?
Sean, sorry, mate. I'd forgotten about this.
Yeah.
Like, the past few years, you totally forget that, you're so focused on E3, you forget like the week or two before E3, it goes insane.
Yeah.
Like, everyone just starts announcing shit.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, chill out. We got another week.
And it seems really odd because it's like I thought the whole point was that it's next week and that's the event and that's when all the things
But that's
get
the
announced.
thing, isn't
But
it?
yeah,
All
it's
these
just like
developers think...
It's just a whole season of it, isn't it?
Well, they're thinking, well, get in early. Like, it happens every year. Get in early. Don't get lost in the noise. And yeah, that seems to be what's happening. So, what's happening?
Monster Hunter is coming to the Switch, possibly only Japan only, but we don't know. So this is Monster Hunter XX or Double Cross that had already been announced for the 3DS and came out in Japan in March. And yeah, they've announced there's going to be a Switch port of that. Now this is because what we got as Monster Hunter Generations was basically Monster Hunter Cross. So this is a jazzed up version of that. They always do this. Like basically every entry in the Monster Hunter series gets like 2 versions because people buy them, certainly in Japan. In the West, we tend to just get like every other one. So like Monster Hunter 3 came out. I mean, we got Monster Hunter Tribe, but then Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate came out, and then we got that. The Monster Hunter 4 we didn't get, but we did get Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. And yeah, and it sort of tends to sort of go on and off. Whether or not we get this, I've no idea. They've only said about Japan. But there's loads of interesting stuff. I know, Matt, you picked up on this as well. There's been rumours about what is going on with Monster Hunter because there's been basically there was a post on 4chan, reputable news source 4chan, where someone just did a post where it was like, here's what's going on with Monster Hunter. They're going to release Monster Hunter Double Cross on the 3DS, but this is before that had been announced. And then it said a load of other shit that people had discounted, but then Monster Hunter Double Cross was announced and did come out for the 3DS. And basically what they've said is that it's like the franchise is essentially splitting in two. So Monster Hunter 5 is going to go to the PS4 and is going to be like quite streamlined and with lots of things taken out. and it's going to be open world and a bit more, because as much as I like Monster Hunter, it is time that it got a bit of a kick up the arse. So there's that, and that's going to be sort of super online focused and stuff and everything. But then it's also going to continue, like there's going to be another strand, which is going to be the Monster Hunter Portable series, which is going to carry on the 3DS and then the Switch. And it kind of makes sense, because they've been trying to get Monster Hunter to take off in the West for a while. And people still complain that it's too hard, and it is hard and complicated. So I guess in a way, for them to just go, well, let's make one for the West that is not so complicated. Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean that sounds great, but if that one is then just for PS4, not for Switch, I mean, that's
that
weird,
would be a shame. Yeah, I mean, the main tragedy there is that say this series does take an interesting new direction, then it won't be on the Switch; it'll be on the PS4. And I mean, obviously the online infrastructure on the PS4 is going to be better, so that's a thing. But also, I do really want Monster Hunter on the Switch. So
because obviously Monster Hunter was massive when it was on PSP in Japan. And
this is the thing,
it's handheld. So you'd think that the next big Monster Hunter, and if we could call it Monster Hunter 5, that would also be handheld, because it's got such a history and legacy.
You think
of being
so? Because in Japan it has, like in Japan it has like a massive culture of people actually meeting up and playing it, whereas we all prefer to do things online. So.
Yeah, when I lived over in Shanghai, whenever I saw anyone playing on 3DSs, the only thing they were ever playing was Monster Hunter. Yeah. It was massive there as well. It was a big deal.
Yeah. So, I mean, with Monster Hunter Double Cross, I mean, there's every possibility that if it gets, it gets an Asian release, then that might have English in it. And of course, Switch doesn't give a fuck about region, which is cool. So that might be a thing. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if anything comes out at E3, I think.
Yeah. I mean, are they likely to do it at E3, or are they likely to hold it off at Tokyo Game Show?
Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe at E3 that might be the time to announce Monster Hunter 5 or whatever it is, if that is indeed happening separately from Double Cross. But we'll see, I guess. What else? Right, so Mass Effect Andromeda, despite everything we were saying the other week about half the staff getting moved over to other things, Andromeda has dropped a hint about upcoming DLC, well, possibly.
I did not hear this. That's interesting.
So I didn't realise the multiplayer stuff. It sometimes comes up saying like, oh, there's an event going on, like do this special mission. I've been completely ignoring that. Turns out it's got bits of story in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And basically the latest one, you ransack some remnant facility, and then at the end it's collected some transmission data. And so in the game that it's mentioned that there is a Quarian arc that you never find. And it's got all the other weird races on it, like the Hanar and the Elcor and stuff. Sorry if you don't play Mass Effect, this is all fucking gibberish. But basically there's at the end, it's like, oh, we intercepted this transmission, and it alludes to the Quarian arc. But what's interesting is, it's entirely possible that this was just scheduled and put in ages ago. So maybe it alludes to some DLC that we're now not going to get, because the team's been gutted, but it was just left in by accident.
Oh god,
that'd be so bad.
That would be kind of shit. I mean, apparently the people that are remaining working on Andromeda are basically they're dedicated to supporting the multiplayer and patching the campaign. So it might just be that we end up like, oh, here's a Quarian multiplayer character. Well, that'll have to do. Who knows?
There was no season pass for that game, was there?
There wasn't, no. And they always said that. To be fair, that was they made that clear from the start. Which made us wonder if there was never going to be DLC either. But then having
that is weird though for an EA game not to have season pass.
It's almost like they weren't massively confident in it to begin with, isn't it?
Yeah,
because we've said there's been cases where like shit games have come out with a season pass, and it's like, and then the developers are like, well, fuck, now we've got to make more content for a game that only 10 people are playing.
What happens if a company goes under? Has that happened before? A company sold so badly that it's gone under and they can't fulfill their season pass.
That must have happened. I can't think of any examples though.
Okay, fine.
Next. Weird. You can go and hire your local game out for a stag do.
Yes,
okay, this is hang on, because this is not quite what I thought. Because when I read this, it says like your local. What have you written, like your local game? And I was just thinking,
there's a bit more to it.
My local branch, like that would be insane. But it's actually game arena, like they have this
Well,
belong
it's
arenas
these
thing.
belong centres, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
It's
I've
still terrible,
walked past,
but, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I've walked past game in the Trafford Centre in Manchester, and I never go in because I've got self-respect. But you walk past and there's just a big sign that just says "belong," and I had no idea what that meant. So it looked a bit weird. Didn't really know what that was about. But now, I realise it's basically they have these little centres where there's just a shitload of PCs rigged up, and I think there's like fighting game setups and stuff in it, and you can go there and play games. And now, you can hire the place out for all your mates to get bevied and play League of Legends.
The craziest thing about all this is that Sean's got self-respect. What?
I know.
When did that happen?
Who knew?
And why?
I walked past game and I was like, no, there are levels I won't sync to. I mean,
see,
I'm not like I am being a bit snarky, but it's worth pointing out my stag do was a week on a canal boat.
Fuck! You got there just before I did. You've got no right to get snarky about this.
Okay,
when you were talking about your stag do, you were going, "Oh, it's what I want to do, David." Yeah, but that's not what fucking stag do is, you mug. Honestly,
but everyone had a really fucking good time, and it was something that normally we just wouldn't have the excuse to do. Whereas you can just go to game and take your mates whenever you want.
Got
it doesn't have to be.
Friends. You've got two normal friends.
You and
myself
who else?
And Sam White. Were either of them there? And if either of us were there, would they have had a good time? Thank you. Case
neither
closed.
would anyone else.
Fine.
But would you have a good time if someone dragged you to your local game to have a?
You see, the other thing I like about this is it says it's special packages for birthdays, corporate stag do's, and hen do's as well. It's not just stag do's. It's
sorry,
sorry, James, go on.
No, this looks amazing.
No, everyone go quiet. James, why have you highlighted that?
Yeah,
no, because I just think it looks kind of amazing, to do something like that, but also awful. But,
Right, okay. It seemed that you were a bit surprised that they were allowing Hindus in there as well. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of your reaction there.
I think he was just calling me out on.
It's not just the stag do's, it's also corporate events, David, as well.
James, you backing out? Matt's office would do it. You know what Matt's office like? I know they'll listen to this. They're all trying to get the number now. It's that sort of place, isn't it? They'll skate. Don't worry, we'll skate down there.
We'll board down there. Don't worry. Do a sick ollie. I won't be able to because I can't do.
Obviously, fair play to him for trying because we all know they're on the way out again. Probably. It's been a while since a new console came or a new generation came out. That always seems to be what sustains them. So fair play to him for trying to, do new things. It's just, I don't know. Maybe I'm being a dick. Maybe if you're a teenager and you've got loads of mates, and maybe you don't own every fucking console and PC under the sun. Maybe this is cool. I don't know. Matt, what do you think?
I think the focus on the stag do stuff doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
I would personally be embarrassed to go to a stag do in a place like that, right? And maybe call me an arsehole or whatever. I would personally be fucking embarrassed.
Yeah.
But if I was like 15, 16 and my mum and dad arranged this for my birthday, it'd be the best thing that ever happened to me. Like, so whatever. Do what you want.
Yeah.
Next news.
It's not the only thing that they're doing to raise money. Have you also seen the news that they're now offering an elite loyalty card scheme which costs £36 a year?
Oh, yeah.
What does it get you?
Well, it basically, essentially, what it does is it increases the rate you get for trading in games and for buying consoles. So I think previously you got 2% on trade-ins, and now you get 4%. And previously you got but basically now you get 10% back on buying physical games and whatnot, and you also get £5 vouchers in your birthday month. You get exclusive deals. But yeah, I mean, the £36 a year is pretty bad. According to the Eurogamer article, you've basically got to buy 10 full price £40 games in 12 months to get another game's worth of points. So if you want to get a free game a year, you've got basically buy 10 games. But I suppose if you're a regular game customer, this is
I'm sure there's plenty of people who do.
I don't know who would be a regular game customer.
This is rubbish. There's no way you could ever justify saying this is good. I mean, look, they got here.
Terrible.
They got here like member-only discounts at launch include Destiny the Collection for £20 if you buy it in store. I mean, that's ridiculous. and also a PlayStation VR prize draw. I mean, this is awful. I don't know
hold
why.
on, James. You got Amazon Prime?
No, I have not.
Matt, you have
Of
though.
course I have,
How
yeah,
much
yeah.
is that a year
That's 80
for free postage and
Videos.
free postage.
Okay. I'm saying it's not that dissimilar, is it? And what they were saying, I mean, from what I've seen, don't get me wrong, there ain't no way I'm taking them up on this offer. It does not suit my needs at all. I mean, I don't buy games anymore. I'm David Turner, for fuck's sake. The thing is, they've announced that actually there's kind of a no-lose policy, and if you don't spend enough to justify the initial purchase, they give you that back in loyalty points or something.
Yeah.
So you can spend it in credit in store or whatever.
So you're still giving them your money, like whether or not.
Yeah, no, you're right, and that was the first thing I thought of. But as you say, I mean, we're the sort of people that will never shop there, and maybe there are people that are, although I've never met one.
Also, Dave, Amazon Prime, it's not just like free delivery. There's also Amazon Prime Video, Amazon Prime Music.
Oh yeah, you watch Amazon Prime Video, do you?
Yeah, definitely. Yes, brilliant. Yeah, I watched Transparent.
Bollocks.
I watched Mr. Robot, Man High Castle. It's arguably
Absolutely
stronger than
bollocks.
Netflix.
Total.
That's better than Netflix.
No, all the original stuff has been amazing. Yeah, Transparent's incredible. Man High Castle. There's obviously there's Mr. Robot I've just mentioned. Yeah, they got loads of great stuff on Amazon Prime Video. Love it.
Okay, all right. Not convinced. Okay, fine. Right, is that it? Is that all we got?
What, for news? No, mate, we're only about halfway through. Fucking hell.
Oh my good gold.
Right, there's been some leaked images of Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
Oh god, this was the funniest thing I've seen this week.
So
Apart from several DMs from a disgruntled ex-member of a community.
So this looks like it's come from like a presentation, right? It's like it's explaining
this
the
looks
game
copy
to
and pasted
investors
as well,
or-
yeah.
Yeah. So apparently this is getting announced at E3 if this leak is to be believed. It's like basically it's like an RPG, right? It's like exploring and doing turn-based battles, and Mario and Peach have got guns. Not actual guns, like sort of Metroid style, sort of weird cannon things. And yeah, there's an absolutely terrifying Rabbids dressed up as Princess Peach. Have you seen this? It's horrible.
The comedy in this story is not the game. I mean, people talk about Mario as if he's some sort of sacred character, but he's been in some shit, and you just got to understand that is not main Nintendo, is it? Don't worry about it. Just ignore it. It didn't happen. We've all had to do that. And if you're saying, "Oh my god, I can't believe they're partnering Mario up with Rabbids," I don't know if that's worse than when he partnered up with Sonic, to be quite honest with you.
No, but at least Sonic
funny.
was an actual character
Wow.
with a history, albeit how bad. Yeah.
Like, I've never played any of the Rabbids games. Aren't they basically all right? Like, they're not shit, are they?
I played the only one that I properly played was 3D. Was it? They brought out when the 3DS come out. They brought out Rabbids Travel Through Time or whatever.
Okay.
And it was legitimately decent.
Okay.
Like it was, but just low budget.
Yeah.
There was a whole bunch of them on the Wii which were actually not awful. Like as in they were a laugh. Like if you were playing them with somebody else.
Rayman's
Raving
Raving
Rabbids or
Rabbids,
something?
yeah.
I remember playing that and thinking that was alright.
Oh, yeah.
But it was the Wii, so it's hard to tell. The funny part of this story is that these were supposedly screens from a presentation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
looks
some of the screens are so embarrassing.
like.
The wording and the typos in them were worse than messages I sent to my mates, and that's saying something.
Well, I don't know about that, Dave.
Matt, it says no more green shelves.
Yeah, I've got that here. Yeah.
No more green shelves. Like, what the fuck? I mean, I don't know what was going on there, but it if you've not seen them, try and find an article on them and read the text in these little screen grabs because they're hilarious.
It's a timeline one, and it shows the months of June, July, and August. June, it says surprise announcement. Oh no, wait, no, that hasn't happened now. It's been leaked.
Fuck that one. Yeah.
July, convince media/gamers. So really convince them. So
yeah.
And then
Put
August,
out fires.
go big for launch, and it just shows us like magazines. But I mean, again, yeah.
I mean, Matt, you're a content strategist. How good is that?
Well, I'm going to buy this slide myself for all my major clients at work. Surprise announcement. Convince people.
They've
get on the magazines.
It's like, we'll announce it, but they will think it's shit. So, just game we need to work.
Please. So June, we tell them it's coming out. July, we tell them, don't worry, it's going to be all right. Just calm down.
Giving them a month to stew, and now we're going to...
What can you say? It's these games I'm not too worried about. Nintendo have been a little bit more relaxed with certain things. There was a lot of chat about how, it's Ubisoft, and if Ubisoft were going to do an exclusive for Nintendo, they're going to want a little bit something back for the game that they're going to stick on there, and that's obviously sticking Mario on the cover, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's as much as you can say on that.
Yep.
But go and find those screens because they're hilarious.
Right, Far Cry 5 debut trailer came out.
Absolutely stunning.
Yeah, looks fucking wicked.
I wouldn't say stunning. I mean, it looks
Stunning?
really good.
It really. I know David. You're going to rip into me for this, but I thought it really looked quite a lot like the most recent Ghost Recon, like the environments and everything.
You are fucking. Well, no, you're insane. You thought it looked like Wildlands.
Yeah.
But this will be good, James. So,
yeah, I know. Obviously, there's going to be big differences, but it just looked a little bit similar to me. I
didn't even get a hint of Wildlands from that.
Me neither. Sorry,
not even a sniff of it.
I got more of a hint of GTA than Wildlands.
It had a bit of GTA to it.
Especially with a bit in the trailer where there's
Wildlands is a lot
explosion.
like GTA, Matt. It's really similar, like the way that Wildlands works.
I don't.
It is. How much have you played it, Sean?
A few hours.
Exactly. It's.
Did I not get into the good story?
No, it's not that it doesn't get good, but it's what I'm saying is there are
good.
No, there are similarities though between like GTA like Online and Wildlands. It's the structures are pretty similar.
Is it that they both need PS Plus to play online?
They both use an internet connection.
Yeah.
James, when you're trying to defend a game, don't start with it. No, it doesn't get good. But it doesn't help.
Well, it never reaches heights, but it's not awful.
When I watched the trailer for this, why I say it was stunning is that it got a reaction. Usually, you watch a trailer and you go like a teaser trailer like this, and you go, "Okay, next." This got a reaction from me because every shot I was going, oh, this is going to upset people. It feels like it's got this sort of attitude to it that makes me think, oh, this game doesn't give a fuck about upsetting people because that's what it's going to do. Like the shots of the American flag, the Bible, all that sort of shit, the religious stuff around it. This is going to be some interesting shit, in my opinion.
Well, it's already upsetting people because the people who normally cry about, diversity's been rammed down our throats, and then Far Cry 5 appears, and it's like, okay, all the baddies are now white people, and now they're going, what? No, you can't do that. It seems to involve taking down a sinister sort of Christian-esque cult, which is pretty interesting. I was also sat in Montana, which is like a massive Trump place, isn't it? Right? I think it's like
I assume so. I mean, I just loved its swagger. I loved its attitude, and I love the fact that it's not set in a fucking forest again.
There is that.
I'm really interested to see. I can't wait for this. I can't wait for it. I mean, I've been a fan of Far Cry for ages. 3 was probably my favourite up until now. I didn't play 2, which I understand is very good, but 3 was...
it's probably my favourite, but it probably hasn't aged well either.
No, I've heard exactly the same. Like, I've missed my opportunity with that game, but 3 was probably my favourite, maybe Primal, but 4 was not as good, but still fucking excellent. So I am very much looking forward to this game.
Yeah, I thought the trailer was excellent. In terms of my history of the game, I love 3, but towards the end, I didn't even finish 3. I got bored. It was great for the first few hours, and after that, I just gave up. 4 and Primal.
Mr. Banging sex scene, mate.
What?
Mr. Banging sex scene.
Okay, I'll go back to it. I'll play it immediately after this podcast. So 4 and Primal didn't really do enough, and I thought, obviously we knew Far Cry 5 was coming, and I thought, well, it's been another Far Cry game, I won't bother. But this trailer, is really, really interesting. I wouldn't call it stunning, but I'm definitely interested in this game. Whereas prior to this trailer, I wasn't really interested in another Far Cry game. But it definitely had vibes of GTA for me, especially there's like a scene in the trailer where a truck explodes. It just felt a bit more bombastic than other Far Cry games.
There was people shooting, and it reminded me of GTA, and there was
very much like that. And also, the Eurogame article mentions that there's biplanes and stuff in the main poster, so maybe we're going to be able to fly in the air this time, unlike previous Far Cry games. But yeah, it looks really good. I can't wait to see more E3.
You were never able to fly an airplane, were you? It was only always hang gliding, wasn't it?
Yeah, or helicopters.
But still, that was pretty good. I had time for that shit.
Yeah,
right. Okay.
So Far Cry, has it had multiplayer before? It hasn't.
Yeah, Far Cry 4 had co-op. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I wonder how much of this will be like online multiplayer as well. Maybe like in GTA Online style.
Yeah.
Such a ridiculous thing to say, and I hate it when people say it. But I'll say it. I hope they don't try and put deathmatch and shit in this. Don't need it. But there you go.
Yeah. I'm sure they will, because it's like a good way to make money, because there'll be loot crates, no doubt. They'll probably maybe be able to buy cards. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do crowbar some sort of in-app sort of microtransaction led multiplayer in this game. But I'd like to see a co-op and potentially GTA Online style sort of sandbox online multiplayer would be good.
Okay,
right, cool. Nearly there. Xbox Game Pass is launching on the 1st of June. I had no idea about this, and it sounds ace. So this is basically your sort of Netflix-style subscription for your Xbox, and you just get access to a shitload of games. That sounds pretty good to me. $7.99 a month. That's all right, isn't it?
It's not too bad.
I mean, it depends what's on it, doesn't it? Obviously, that's the...
Yeah. You're competing against EA Access, and right now that's £20 a year.
That's what I always forget, because as a non-Xbox man, I forget that EA Access is a thing.
Yep.
So
that's directly who they're competing against, because you're thinking, well. But then saying that, if you don't like the sports game, then EA Access really isn't something for you, is it? The majority of the games on that system are sport games.
And the difference between this and, say, PlayStation Now is this, I like the fact that you basically pay and you download the games and you're not having to stream the games. So, yeah, this is interesting, but I'm not going to pay another £8 a month for another subscription service.
Yeah.
And I've got EA Access at £20 a year is brilliant. I've got that. I've other big titles that come out through the year, so this doesn't really do enough for me right now. But who knows? In like a year or two, if they've got a few hundred games, and I might be willing to pay £8 a month. But right now, it doesn't really do enough for me.
Every time EA Access comes up and someone says, "Yeah, £20 a year," and I'm like, "I've misheard that."
It's insanely cheap.
Yeah.
And I've said it before, I'll say it again, Sony's official line was it doesn't offer the, what was it? The value for money that our customers expect.
Bollocks.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
I will say one thing about, people keep saying the Netflix of games, and that's something that's been banned around for a long time. But for me personally, the best thing about Netflix is the original content. So do you see a time in the future where something like Game Pass, or if Sony were to release have announced something similar, that there will be potentially unique games just to these services, and that could be a way of getting people involved?
No, I don't see that. Not in the near future, anyway.
No. I guess not. But I just think the idea that would be interesting.
Because I guess the question is, would Netflix do Netflix originals if they were already selling other people's programs and making a profit on them? Do you know what I mean? Like it's so for if Xbox started doing this and going, right, you have to subscribe to our service, people would be like, well, okay, well, I won't buy the games then, and it'd just be cannibalizing their own sales to an extent, I think.
Yeah. I'm not 100%
Yeah, I don't know.
sure it's the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You never know where this shit's going to end up. So possibly.
Is anyone going to bother with this?
Weird one. No. I mean, I've cancelled now my EA Access simply because I just
Too
wasn't
expensive.
No, I wasn't downloading and playing the games that were on there, and I just thought I've not really used it this year that much. I still think it's a strong service. I mean, as I said, like my old man said, "What console should I buy? I'm ready for a new console," and I said, "PlayStation 4. Buy PlayStation 4." And then the next day, I rang him up and said, "Actually, I think you should get Xbox." And he said, "Why?" And I said, "Because then you buy Xbox, you buy EA Access, and that's all you'll need. You'll never need to buy a game. You just get last year's FIFA. You get plus, you know, he loves sports games, so the fact that you could just download an ice hockey game for free rather than going to go and buy it from a shop or whatever, it's perfect for him. That's all he'll ever need, and you can't get on that on PlayStation. It's mad, but yeah, I think it's a good system seller for the more casual gamer. But I just for me, I play new games as often as I can, so I found it to be actually quite useless this year. So I unsubscribed.
The best thing about EA Access is when they do the 10-day, also the 10-hour free trial when say like Mass Effect comes out or Titanfall. That's arguably the best bit about EA Access, and that's when I've used it the most.
See,
I think that's going to get more and more limited though. I think that's going to get.
That's the problem with like this thing from Xbox, because if they were offering like new stuff, which as you said they're not going to do, like it's just old stuff, isn't it? And you can pick those up cheap anyway. Like Xbox games get really cheap very quickly, so why go for this? See what I mean?
I suppose it's the convenience of just saying, "Oh, I've got nothing to play. I'll just have a look on there and download a brand new game and not have to worry about even leaving my house, let alone trying to find a deal." Every
month you get like four games anyway, like from Games with Gold or whatever.
That is true. They ain't been that great recently though.
Oh, no,
I mean, from neither
Assassin's Creed 2 or whatever.
3, wasn't it?
Oh, fuck it.
It was. I mean, neither of them have been very good. Like PS Plus has been shit as well recently. So I don't know. I think those times are fading away now, where we get. I mean, some of it. I remember when the 360, not the 360, when the PS3 was trying to fight for its life. The games we were getting for free on that service was insane. I mean, you didn't even require it for online play, and we all still had it. It's mad. Right, okay, cool. Next story.
Last one, quick and slightly shit. IO Interactive, developers of Hitman, who you mentioned before, are getting sold off by Square Enix, are letting staff go, which is bollocks, obviously. Whether it's just because Square Enix is saying, look, here's how much you can spend on salaries until we sell you, or whether it's them sort of, trimming the fat to sort of make them a bit more of a prospect for whoever's buying them. Don't know, but it's just shit that they haven't been able to find someone to buy them and just crack on as they were.
I just think it's mad that the amount of, like, as we say, it's the, it's your echo chamber, it's your bubble, internet bubble. I've never seen so many people talking and loving one game, and then to hear that they've been let go was like, what?
Yeah.
I thought this was going to be like Hitman was going to be pushed all over the place now. But
it's just like, it's sort of
obviously not.
A studio that's so well known for this one particular series that's had so many missteps, and then they fucking nail it, and it ruins them. Like, that's not fair, is it? But hey ho.
Sad. Yeah. Sad to see that go. Right, okay, should we get on to what we've been playing?
Let's.
I want to start. We should start with ARMS because there's been an ARMS. What do they call it? Test punch.
Yeah.
Who's played it?
Me.
I played it. Yeah.
Yeah,
but not you,
haven't.
Matt.
No, didn't get time.
I thought you'd be all over this, Matt.
I wanted to, but I went away for the weekend, and then I was actually so I went away for the weekend, and I've been busy and stuff. So I was like, okay, I've got to play it before the podcast tonight. 7:00, turned on tonight, realised it's not on tonight. So back on next weekend, baby. I was like, Jill, I've got to play. She goes, yeah, you can play. And then, yeah. I was like, why is no one online? Oh, wait, it doesn't work. So, no, missed out, sadly.
I'll tell you something, this hour-long stuff is a bit annoying because the other thing we've been playing this week is the new Everybody's Golf game, but I mean, it's so ridiculous that we're not allowed to talk about it. Yeah. I mean, what a weird thing that was to come up when you were signing up to the beta or whatever, but to be able to just switch that on whenever I wanted, I was like thinking, oh yeah, this is nice, I can test this out and have a little game of it or whatever. And with the I wasn't able to get on either, and I was frustrated because I just thought, I want to give it a go. But
I mean,
not fucking problem is, basing my life around it.
I get it from a stress test point of view, right? Because they want to try and focus everyone playing at the same time, so they can actually see how the network performs. So I get it from that point of view. I also, people often also say yeah, but it's make sure you and all your mates all plan to play it at the same time. But then you can't play with your mates. It's just random matchmaking. So
do that for the first few weekends, a couple of weekends or whatever, and then have a day where you can play all day or something. Yeah. Test out the fact that it can last longer periods than just an hour or whatever.
Or if it is just an hour, maybe have more slots. I mean, because I know it's different over here in the UK than it is in, say, America, but over here it was 1 a.m. till 2 a.m., 1 o'clock in the afternoon till 2 in the afternoon, or 7 till 8. I mean, I'd love to do 1 till 2, but unlikely. I'm just not going to be able to play 1 in the afternoon on a weekend because, I've got dad stuff to do, sadly. So, yeah, it's annoying for me, but I'm sure everyone else had a great time.
you got to be practicing that ollie. All exactly, that stuff.
So on the first day, I'd stayed up till midnight, and I was like, no, I'm going to go bed. I'm not staying up for ARMS. That's fucking stupid. Oh, I'll just check my phone. Oh, it's 20-1. Right, I may as well stay up for ARMS. Turns out playing it at 1 a.m. when it's 23 degrees is not great. I just wasn't clicking with it. I wasn't understanding what was going on. I was fucking sweating, which is partly the temperature and partly my own woeful health. But yeah, actually standing and battering people for a while, it was actually an incredibly mild workout. But it was, I just wasn't getting it. I was like, I don't think this is for me. Tried again the following afternoon and properly enjoyed it. I think maybe just because I was more awake and I was just thinking a bit more about what was going on, trying out different combinations of arms, and I'm not really getting the whole sort of angling my punches in different ways and twisting them around and stuff. I'm shit at that, so I just don't pick the arms where that's a major thing. There's a couple of the characters so there was 6 or 7 characters to pick from, James, I think. I don't know if it was all of them or not. I can't remember. But there was a fair few of them. And they each had 3 arms to pick from. Everyone I used seemed to have pretty much the same setup, where it was normal fist, one with a propeller on it that can do super curvy attacks, and then one that was 3-pronged, so it did a wider, sort of weaker attack. So I was shit at the windy attack, so I just didn't use the windy one, and that pretty much seemed to work. I'd sort of developed the strategy of using the 3-pronged one to sort of control space and distract them, and then fucking do damage with the normal fist. And that pretty much seemed to work. Also, just getting used to dodging pretty much all the time. It does tell you on the loading screen, it's here's how you dodge. It is really important. Do it a lot. And yeah, once I took that on board, that helped a lot. I don't know if I'm fully getting I was basically just trying to batter the other person. I wasn't so much considering what they were doing and reacting to it, because I know there's all sorts of clever counters and if they go for a grab, then just punch one of their fists and you'll be fine. And I wasn't quick enough to really absorb any of that and react to it. I don't know. Did you do any better, James? Or
kind of. I mean, you see, I played it with the kids quite a lot. And, they enjoyed it. They thought it was really fun, particularly my son, who was, as I sent you that video, he's just flailing around. But he did actually win a couple of times. which was kind of
But
crazy.
Isn't that quite damning of the game, though? If that's all he's doing. And
I did kind of feel. I mean, I feel. I don't know what I think about this game, to be honest. I mean, because I don't want to be like a parody of myself and just say I hate it, because I don't. It's just I'm glad that the demo exists, because it made me kind of feel glad that I didn't buy it. Because I'm not saying it's a bad game. It just didn't feel like it's for me, really.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really particularly enjoy it that much. I mean, the motion controls, I felt they're totally adequate. They work fine. The art design's nice. I don't know. I just don't find it that interesting to play.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't really enjoy it that much.
Yeah.
Is the problem?
Did you try?
Did you feel that you didn't find it that interesting to play because it wasn't interesting to play, or because you were missing something?
Maybe because I was missing something. I mean, we played it at that event, didn't we?
Yeah.
And it didn't really. I enjoyed it more when we played it then than I did this time. But maybe that's just because I was. Yeah, well, maybe that's just because I was playing against you, Sean, and it felt more like personal, and more interesting.
Yeah.
Whereas
because I want to fucking batter you.
I felt like I could reach out and punch you in the face.
Yeah. Whereas playing against just like random people felt nothing. It just didn't feel. I don't know. It didn't feel so enjoyable.
Yeah.
How much have you guys played fighting games, and can you see that there is a depth to this in much like other fighting games are?
It certainly feels like there's depth. But I don't know. What do you think, Sean?
I was going to say too hard to tell from just a couple of hours, really. One of which was at 1 a.m, so I wasn't really paying attention. Anyway, I honestly don't know how this will sit with the fighting game community and stuff. It'll be interesting to watch, I think. But yeah, I think just being able to play against your mates would have been a huge help. But as I said, it was just stuck you in a lobby. So cool things it does. So it just puts you in a lobby and you can just push a button and go into practice mode. It's just instant, no loading, nothing. That's really smart. And as far as I'm aware, no actual accomplished fighting games do that. So that's cool. I thought some of the extra modes that seemed a bit gimmicky, like the volleyball one, I actually thought that was pretty good fun. It's fucking hard though.
Yeah, that was the one that my son couldn't do.
Okay.
Flailing around didn't work with that one.
But then there was 3-player matches, so 1v1v1, and then there were 2v2 matches, and I didn't think either of those worked. I didn't know.
You're on the 2 versus 2 is weird because you're stuck to the other person like an elastic band.
Yeah.
And also, I found it difficult to try and figure out, you sort of are locked onto somebody. I couldn't kind of figure out how I was supposed to change to another person if I wanted
neither.
to.
I have no idea what that was about. It seemed to switch sometimes, but I don't know what I was doing to trigger that, and it wasn't mentioned in the tutorials or anything. I didn't really feel like they worked. In the 2-on-2 battles, it's not so in something like For Honor, there was 2v2 battles, but the game was designed so that when there's 2 people against one, it actually makes it a bit easier to defend against. So you'll focus on one player, but it's easier to defend against the one you're not focused on. And then you build up a meter, and then you can do a big attack, and everything's fine again. So it gives you that tool to get that comeback, even though you've lost your partner and you're outnumbered. Whereas with this, it was as soon as one person's gone, you may as well end the match. It was just pointless carrying on. Mm-hmm. So that wasn't great. But no, just pure...
Does it have a tag team mode? Because that seems perfect for this sort of game.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Yeah. Oh man, I'd love that.
Yeah.
That seems like a really good way of playing online with your friends. So 2-on-2, but tagging out and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe you got to punch your tag team and he comes in halfway through. That could be fucking good.
Yeah, I mean, normal 1v1 matches, I was properly enjoying by the end. It was just the larger ones I just didn't get at all.
I just think this could be so much better if they had have done something so you could play it with friends and stuff. Because that's where it feels this works.
Yeah.
Playing with randoms, I just didn't feel it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, because often fighting games work really well when you've got 2 people who are mates but are both learning the game, but they're learning each other, and they you're both sort of learning bits and changing the way you play and constantly adapting to each other, and that's a really cool and fun way of learning a game like this. But yeah, when it's just endless people, none of whom you've ever met, and no one else really knows what they're doing either. It's not like you can get beaten by someone and think, well, that was really interesting because they did this and they did that on purpose, and I understand it, because everyone's just flailing pretty much at this point. So it's hard to know how in depth it goes, I guess.
How are sponsors with a Joy-Con? And
Oh,
how
they're
do you think
fine.
that compares to say Wii games?
It's definitely better though.
Yeah, I was absolutely fine using the motion controls. Like I say, I'm no good at
play
curving.
in handheld mode?
I didn't. I wasn't actually sure if that, because I know that's in the game, but in the tutorial it makes no mention of like, oh, and you can use the buttons if you want. So I assume
I've heard that there are some moves you can't do in handheld mode.
Well, I don't know how you would curve your punches. I guess in handheld mode, that's the only thing I can't think.
And also, I find it a little bit. I fully understand why this wouldn't be in the game, but to be able to not play a version of it with, one Joy-Con per player, because it would have been great to just like have a bash around with Harry and but otherwise I've got to spend a fucking ton of money on controllers to be able to do that, which is a bit frustrating. Seems like a weird one. One of the things that I think is wildly overlooked when it comes to the praise for Rocket League is the fact that you can play. It's a very competitive game, but you can play it alongside friends rather than against them every time.
Sure, yeah.
So it would be nice to have that sort of cooperative element. But then we don't even know what the online system's going to be like when this game comes out officially. When's the next one? Is it this weekend coming?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you all going to be Are you going to be trying it again, Sean?
I'll definitely give it another go. Like, I'm not. Like, I enjoyed it, but I'm not like, fuck yeah, when's it out? It's my 50
You're not
quids.
buying it?
I'll wait for the reviews, I think.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. It's like, I want to play some more, but 50 quid. And I couldn't justify that for this. It doesn't feel...
a lot of money.
Yeah.
In terms of like, you saying you're playing with Harry, it'd be pretty cool if there was a mode where one of you had the left arm and one of you had the right arm. So
surely that's just the normal mode.
Just the game, I guess. You could just do that.
But I don't know. Yeah, I suppose you're right. Yeah, it looks interesting. I'll definitely wait for reviews, and I'll hopefully be able to give it a go next weekend.
Yeah.
I love playing that console with that boy. Today, right, it was obviously bank holiday, weren't at work. Joe had loads of stuff to do, so I built a fort out of chairs and sheets, and we sat and played Mario Kart underneath it. It was in his bedroom. It was the fucking best thing ever. Honestly, just that console, I fucking love it. Right, okay. Cool.
One more question: does this game have the Rumble HD Rumble? Could you feel that? Or
I didn't notice anything. I didn't notice it. Yeah, I'm sure it was doing stuff, but nothing that made me go, "Oh, that's cool." So
yeah,
I
totally sold on HD Rumble.
I haven't played. I haven't got a mini game collection, but apart from that, I haven't had like a good HD Rumble moment at all since having a Switch. I guess you've got to have
there's not many of them.
Tumbleseed's made the best use of it for me so far.
Yeah.
I think it's really noticeable on that. Thumper, it works, but only in very sort of specific moments where you think, "Ooh, that feels punchy."
And considering Matt's got PSVR, I couldn't honestly tell him he should get the Switch version of Thumper. Like the PSVR, having it in PSVR is like the best reason to not get the Switch version. So,
absolutely. If you've got PSVR version,
but in terms of HD Rumble, it feels like it's just 1-2 Switch right now that's got any sort of cool use of it.
Yeah.
Well, and Tumbleseed. I genuinely think that works well with HDR. HDR? Rumble HD, whatever. There's too many words and fucking letters.
Get rid of some.
Okay. Anything else, Sean?
That's it from me, yeah.
Is that all you got on your list as well, James?
Yeah, I've got something else I'm playing, but it's a review thing, so yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Just drop that in. Fucking hell.
Was there an embargo in place, or you just...
It is, yes. Yeah.
No,
have you signed an NDA?
I was going to say, James can't mention it in case that website nicks it. So
I need to check... Yeah.
You can tell us what it is, though, right?
I need to check my contract to see what
you can tell us what you're playing.
It's Town of Light.
Right, okay, gotcha.
But it's the PS4 version, because it's, they've been released on that.
James, you should have said Crackdown 3 then.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I've been playing Seasons After Fall, which is, I believe, I haven't done my full research on it yet because I'm still playing it and writing up my review at the moment. I believe it was released before, it's only just come out on PS4.
Right.
But I don't think it's the first launch of the game. I think it might have been out on PC.
Yeah, it came out last September.
A while back. Yeah, so yeah, it's sort of just a re-release, really. It's a side-scrolling platform game that has pretty graphics and funky music, and we know how much Sean likes them.
Yeah, boy.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful game to look at. It's got some interesting things to say about the environment. It takes a while to get there, but it's superbly voice acted throughout. It looks gorgeous. It has some really neat ideas. So the as with these games, they're sort of a side-scrolling platformer, but they have a gimmick that sort of drives it. And the gimmick in this one is that you can control the seasons and switch it from summer to winter, spring, while you're playing. Initially, when you're playing it, my first fear was actually they're not playing into the theme at all. So there'd be a tree with a leaf on it and it's droopy, and you turn it to spring, and then it goes upright and you can jump on it and use it as a platform. And that just felt like, actually, this is not taking advantage of changing seasons. This is just, you come across this thing, this only works in this season, you switch to that season, now it works, and you move on. And I'm thinking, this isn't like doing anything clever with this.
Yeah, like that's just pushing a button to change a thing.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
There might as well be a big red button on that, underneath that leaf, that you press, and then the leaf goes up. Yeah. You know, it's but the further you go into it, the more interesting it does get. Like, I mean, a bit of a spoiler, but who's worrying about spoilers in this? Like, one of the puzzles was there's a lake, and you come across these bugs that explode, and I was trying to work out what the fuck was going on with this lake. I didn't know what to do, so I changed it to autumn, chased the bug down into the lake, then changed it to winter, and it froze the lake, and then I barked near because you're controlling this fox. I'll tell you about the control, what you control in a minute. But you and then you bark near this bug, it explodes, and actually explodes, that like cracks the whole lake up, and there's a whole level underneath it. And I thought, that's clever. What that's done is played with the elements through the seasons, and it's worked. A good puzzle. There's not really enough of that, but I still think it does enough to get away with it. And as I say, later on, it does some pretty cool stuff with rain and snow and whatever. You control this spirit thing. It's like referred to as little seed throughout the game. And the spirit takes control of a fox, and you're essentially just playing as a fox throughout, although the idea is you're not actually the fox, and that plays into the story later on. There's a point behind that. There's just one problem with this game, because it did surprise me. Initially, I wasn't impressed, and the more I played it, I liked it more. But there's sort of an overriding theme to my criticisms with this game, and that's that everything feels off pace. So when it comes to controlling the fox, it feels like whenever you press X, he jumps slightly, like a few milliseconds after you press it, and that becomes frustrating when you're switching between elements, which again takes a little bit too long. Like, I would loved it if it was just one button press, boom, it's spring. One button press, but it doesn't do that. It sort of raises them up, and then the screen wipes, and then you drop back down. The whole process takes literally about 3 or 4 seconds, but it feels like 3 or 4 seconds too long. The amount you're asked to switch seasons, like it wants you to switch them. You could switch 4 or 5 times in a single puzzle, and it feels like those 3 or 4 seconds it takes to do so sort of stack up, and by the end of it you're like, and sometimes you'll switch to the wrong one by accident and think, oh, for fuck's sake. But more frustratingly is that there'll be a sort of climbing puzzle, so you'll jump to one platform, you switch, you jump to another, you switch to another season, you jump to another, you switch to another season, and then you'll go to jump, but because of the delay in the jumping, you feel like you should be precise. You drop down to the bottom, and you've got to go through that whole process again.
That sounds awful.
And it's kind of like, oh, fuck's sake. Yeah, there's that stuff. There's also problems with loading. Loading takes far too long between screens, and I suppose when it comes to, it's a weird thing to complain about, right? But this is a side-scrolling indie. That feels like an artistic platforming game, and when I talk about its pacing and its problems with, being delayed all the time and, sort of a bit sluggish through everything it does, that sort of plays into the fact that this was released last year. Because there was a point where a game like this would come out and blow people's socks off, because we hadn't seen how far technology had come. So, so we all loved side-scrolling platform games, and then 3D games come out, and that was it. All we got were 3D games. And then it took a long while for someone to go, let's go back to 3D puzzle platforming and see what we can do. And then they did that,
2D.
and it was like, 2D, puzzle platforming, see what they can do. And you're like, shit, yeah, technology has stepped forward. You couldn't do this back then. Look at this. Like, they messed with time. They messed with, perspective. It was, like, really fresh. And although this game is full of unique ideas, that has been done to death so much over the past, 5, 6, maybe a little bit longer years, that you're kind of like, it needs to be special. It needs to be inside to stand out. And this isn't that. This isn't inside. This is a very competent, very good puzzle platformer. But it doesn't do anything that will make it stand out in what's weirdly become this sort of saturated market, which is a shame. I would say if you're a big fan of puzzle platformers, I would give it a go, because I think you'll enjoy it. But there's enough there to stop me from saying this is really very good and you should absolutely play it. You know what I mean? There's a difference between me talking about this game and me talking about Inside. And although this is not a bad game overall, it just fails to hit those sort of highs and make me and sort of blow my socks off like those earlier, those earlier 2D platformers did.
Right. How much have you played this game so far? How long have you played it for?
4 or 5 hours, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's a fairly decent length for an indie title.
Yeah, and it seems to be going on for a lot longer than I thought it would be. There's a main goal that you're working towards when you first start playing the game. I'm past that goal and thinking, okay, this seems to be asking me to do a lot more. So, I don't think it's a short, quick play. There's more to it than that.
It's a shame, isn't it? Because it's like you say, there was this whole sort of, I don't know, backlash isn't the word, but yeah, sort of 3D had sort of taken over, and then suddenly indie developers are like, well, hang on a minute, let's just do 2D stuff again and see where else we can go with it. And all these interesting and excellent games came out, and there's this whole sort of renaissance around that. But now we're at a point where people are still doing that, but we're like, is this fucking amazing? No? Right, well, I'm bored of it then.
Well, that's why I said it was kind of a shitty thing to say.
Yeah,
because
no, it is. But
had this game come out, during the 360 era, I think it would have got a better reception.
Yeah.
Or I would have appreciated it a lot more.
Yeah.
But you can't step away from that.
Yeah, it's
and
just
I think
become
it's the same with
so saturated that, unless like what you've done is absolutely exceptional, it's very easy to get lost, I think.
It is. It is. But there are people that are fans of this type of game, and I would say, definitely check it out, because there's enough there to like. Like the as I say, the voice acting is fantastic. The story is really getting interesting. It starts off a bit, this is a bit twee and a bit shit, and then it gets interesting, and I think it's got a lot to say. And I think it's absolutely beautiful. Some of the animation is stunning. It looks like an oil painting. It looks like it's all been hand drawn, and it really comes across well. Like, it looks incredible. But that is just not enough for me to turn around and say, buy this game, it's fucking amazing. Because it hasn't got that sort of X factor. Yeah,
I've just watched a bit of a trailer, and it does look absolutely gorgeous. It looks great.
Why are you watching a bit of trailer when we're recording a show?
So I can ask you a relevant question to the game I've never heard of before.
All right, well, let's see this question. Go on.
I think I did. Did I ask you one earlier? No, I've asked my relevant question.
You asked how long it was, and what was that? Because you watched a trailer, was it? Yeah, is that the sort of genius you come up with when you're watching YouTube during recording? Absolute fucking waster. Right, okay, that's me.
I thought it was important to actually see what this game's about, not just go from your description.
That's fine. Just don't do it while we're recording. Actually,
Well, if
to
I
be
do it
fair,
after, it's a little bit silly.
Sunday Matt was like, he's talking shit, lads. Doesn't have a fox in it all. He's his bollocks. He's not even played it. He's rumbles, mate.
to be fair, Matt, I'm having a pop at you there, but you tend to get away with doing that sort of stuff. James, not so much. He starts cracking up to himself. He can't get the next sentence
Those
out.
videos were very funny. Like a lot of those.
How can she slap, James?
It was the one with the horse that did me in. It was
Right, okay, cool. Matt,
Yes.
you're the last one on the list.
Last and certainly least, I've been basically playing nothing this week, but I have played a little bit of PES on iOS, which is out now. So they've taken Pro Evolution Soccer, the game we know and love, and they've absolutely mobilised the fuck out of this game. There are
Has it got? Hang on, Matt. Has it got?
What's that?
Has it got in-app purchases?
You better believe there's in-app
Of
purchases.
course it has. It's free. What do you think they're going to do?
It's a free play version of PES. We all know what PES is. And when I started playing the game, it took about 10 minutes to actually play football because there's like a billion menus, a million things you got to like sign. It is classic PES in that there's as soon as I downloaded it, there was like an update. It didn't say data pack update, whatever the one on the console says, but there was like something else to download, and you have to put your name in. It doesn't give you any guidance and support about what you're actually doing straight away. You're having to fill these things in. Select players and agents and scouts and managers, and it doesn't ever explain.
Matt, while you're talking about that bit, that's the bit that weirded me out. When I was doing that stuff, I was thinking, it was saying, what's your name? What's that? And I go, okay, right, I'm the manager of this team, so I will do this. It goes, right, hire a manager for the team.
Yeah.
I'm going,
that's the weird thing.
Who am I?
Yeah.
It's really weird.
But I mean, straight away it asks you to name your team and not just like choose a team. Well, you can choose a team, but then it says name your team, so it knows straight away, unlike on the consoles where you're playing as, Manchester Blue or whatever they're called. It just asks you straight away just to rename your team, which I think is nice. But yeah, you give yourself a name, and then it asks you to get a manager, which is totally bizarre. But after a while, you can't actually get into the game. So this game does not support you at all. It says what control method do you want? Do you want advanced or regular? You choose advanced. It doesn't tell you what advanced is. It doesn't tell you how to do anything in the game. So I went back.
It does do that. It does.
Well, it has that menu. But if you go back to the settings...
I started the game and did a very lengthy tutorial mission on the advanced controls.
Oh, okay. I might have skipped that.
You must have skipped that.
And now when I go to settings, it just says advanced or basic and doesn't tell me what the difference is or what they actually mean. So that's brilliant. But what is advanced controls? Because I've done basic and it was basically had all the buttons on screen and it was really unintuitive.
Right, so basic is the on-screen, D-pad and all that sort of the keyboard. The advanced controls is like you sort of swipe left for them to run. You sort of swipe the way you want them to run, and then you can double tap to the right of the screen to make them pass, and you can sort of swipe towards the goal to angle a shot and stuff like that. Yeah, so it's basically those sort of, those games that you got where you recreate a goal using your iPhone, and it's all like swiping controls. It feels a little bit like that.
Didn't they try that in FIFA as well? And it was similarly not that great.
I can't remember. I just played D-pad on that.
I mean, on this, I've only played like 2 matches. I played them both with the on-screen buttons, and I mean, it's okay. I think it looks-wise, it looks fine. I mean, I do remember playing that FIFA game on mobile and think it looks okay. This has got full commentary you can download, which I thought I was quite impressed with. The fact that it's actually got commentary and doesn't seem a million miles away from the console version.
The funny thing with that is that it comes up at the start and goes, for a more realistic experience, download the PES commentary. No, the PES commentary has never made it more a realistic experience. Some of the shit that stuff comes out with.
Jim Beglin's
more
back.
of the same, please.
Yeah.
Is he really?
Yeah,
there he is, my
back.
boy.
I haven't heard any
Big
more
J.
of the same, but yeah, I mean, I was quite impressed with the fact that it had commentary. Yeah, just like any
again,
mobile.
FIFA had that as well, but yeah.
Okay, just like any big free-to-play game. It's got 3 different types of currency. You can go into the shop and you can spend up to £100 on the in-game currency if you want to buy the Magic Star, My Club coins. My Club coins are something else. It's something you can use to buy players. There's obviously a stamina bar which runs down, and there's some other currencies as well. This game does seem to have a lot of options. There's various events which are timed events. You do them for new players. It also seems like this game is very much geared towards you creating or earning a decent roster of different players, and then you select those into your team. So this isn't.
Hang on. So this is Ultimate Team again. They're just basically ripping off FIFA as well.
Yeah, so I've got like I've got an agent and a scout, and then the scout it allowed me to select one of these players. There's also these if you hit certain achievements, it then gives you like a lucky spin to potentially get a decent player. There's like silver players, gold players, but it feels like you're constantly earning or trying to earn and receive good players to then put them into your team. You can also sell players and buy players in the auction. If you get better agents, and you get that through achievements and through progressing in the game, those better agents can get you better quality players. So this feels like it's a bit of a hero game as well. You're actually just building up a team, but you're not just playing as the team you've selected, but that's just the name of the team. But actually, it's all the players you're earning throughout playing this game. I'm definitely gonna keep playing.
Hold on, if you're setting scouts and hiring players and doing all that sort of stuff, but you're also hiring a manager. What? I mean,
I don't know who I am.
Who are you?
You're the director of football. There you go.
The director, you're the Neil Warnock.
As I said, it's got events, and if you and these are timed events, and if you do it, you'll get certain bonuses. It's got a big sort of calendar of upcoming events. In terms of licenses, it's got Champions League license, so you can play those games. And teams like Liverpool and Barcelona, those have the correct names of the teams, but also all the correct players. Whereas you've still got other piss poor naming conventions. I'm going to keep playing it just because it was quite fun. The few matches I have played.
Can I ask you a question, Matt?
Go for it.
How much money have you spent?
So nothing so far. I don't think I'm going to.
So far, he's not ruling it out.
No, I mean it's no Fire Emblem Heroes. But yeah, so far
sounds exactly like it though. To be fair, Matt.
It does actually. Yeah. I think only because I played so much Fire Emblem Heroes, I can see those same sort of mechanics in every other game. I mean, there is a bit of gacha in the fact that there's like that random spin to get gold or silver players, but yeah, it's okay. I do remember liking FIFA ages ago, and this seems okay.
It sounds like exactly the same as FIFA, to be honest. Like they want, like Konami obviously wants some of that Ultimate Team money, don't they?
Oh, definitely.
Like, so that's why they,
But yeah,
I'd love to see how far they go to melt people's minds about what your actual role is at this football club. You could give like half-time team talks and then like hand over to the manager afterwards. Like the team are just sitting there going, "The fuck is that guy? Oh, he's the guy that hired me." But what the fuck? It's just so weird. It's so weird.
I've also played this other racing game, this other iOS game, this week called Built for Speed. I'm not sure if you've seen it. It's been heavily advertised on the App Store this week. It's a top-down isometric racer. I can't remember the name. There's a few on Mega Drive which I used to love, and it's very similar to that in that the camera isn't behind the car, but it's just above it. And I can't. It's a really good game. I'm not sure if anyone else has played it or even bothered playing it this week.
I've never even heard of it.
Built for Speed, I recommend it. From what I played, it's good fun.
I'll have a look. Right, okay, that's what we've been playing this week. Let's get on to questions. James, it's your time to shine, my friend.
I'm well excited. I've got a massive long one to read, like right at the beginning, so this is going to be fun.
Sarcasm.
Can I just say, Computer Games, if you're listening, there's a sample there of James saying, "I've got a massive long one." Carry on.
Yes. We've not heard from him for a while. I hope he's working on that.
Okay, I'm going to try again. If you want to email us, it's thecomputergameshow@gmail.com. The first person who's emailed us is Tom Durbin, and he says, "Evening all. I thought I'd write in to say that I share a common experience with David's son. that of being watched over at night by a spooky man in a hat. Let me
God.
elaborate. A number of times during the past years, I've woken up from my slumber to be greeted with a startlingly vivid hallucination. For a few seconds, I experience pure, absolute terror, often shouting out loud as I flail around for my light switch. As soon as the room is illuminated, the images disappear. The fear subsides, and I calmly go back to sleep. I've known the visions to take various different forms, including a spaceship-like object hovering across my room and a small creature scurrying over my bed. The most common sight, however, has been that of a human figure, or figures, always in silhouette, standing and watching me.
Oh, fuck off.
Once, some years ago, I woke up to see a tall man standing at the door wearing a brimmed hat, perhaps the same entity that visited David's son that night. My brief horror awakens the two students I was sharing a room with at the time, who became quite understandably concerned when I asked them, "Can you see that man in the hat?" One night, more recently, when I just moved into a house with some new people, I was joined by a couple of shadowy individuals. In my half-wakened state, I instinctively screamed loudly, "No, no, 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 no," and my housemates genuinely thought I was being murdered. Perhaps the most terrifying experience was when I awoke and saw someone standing at the end of my bed, perfectly still. After a few moments, the figure suddenly leaped towards me, and in self-defence, I kicked at it with both my legs. The hallucination was so strong that I could physically feel the collisions as I repeatedly struck the creature until it vanished. Anyway, I've looked into it, and apparently it's a legitimate medical phenomenon that's been documented as far back as medieval times. But I guess there's always the possibility it's an actual demonic activity, in which case I may well be fucked. Thankfully, it doesn't really happen to me anymore. Perhaps the creatures have left me, in favour of a small boy who likes Mario Kart.
Or perhaps you're not a student anymore and taking drugs every night, because that's what I do, innit? Oh, maybe it's a real demon and not all this shit I'm pumping into my system. You fucking druggie. On another note, right, on a similar note, because I don't want to talk about that, it's horrific.
It is.
What's the worst you've woken up from a nightmare? Or what's happened? Or have you ever had any really bad experiences waking up from a nightmare?
So I generally don't remember my dreams, right? And I'd been living with my wife for about a year at this point, and like she remembers loads of her dreams, and she always found it really weird that I'd never she just saw it as like I just didn't want to talk about them, because she's like, surely you remember your dreams. I was like, no, honestly.
It's because you live in them, innit?
Yeah,
Computer
exactly.
game show.
Yeah. So one night I had a dream that I was being attacked by a swan, and I started kicking it, and then it turned out I was kicking in real life and got woken up by my wife, who's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" So we'd been going out about 7 years at this point, and she was like, "What the fuck was that?" And I was like, "Oh, sorry, I was having a dream where a swan was attacking me, so I started kicking it." She's like, "I waited 7 years for this. That's the only dream you've had."
What a letdown.
Yeah, shite.
I had one where I dreamt that I was laying in bed, right? So that was fine. And Jo pulled out a knife and she started stabbing me in the chest.
Oh.
And all I know is that I woke up on my knees, crying, tears, like pure tears, like pleading with Jo for my life. And she was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I was sort of like, I have no idea. Like it was so, I don't know what was going on. I just woke up, face covered in water, pleading for my life on my knees. I was on my knees outside the bed. It was very bizarre.
I had a nightmare once where I was just walking through some woods, and then just something invisible just sort of knocked me on the floor, and I couldn't get up, and then I just heard like weird chattering voices behind me, like getting closer and closer. And then as I woke up, Nu was like, "Shit, are you all right?" So I must have shouted or something. But yeah, I think that's the worst, probably.
Do you get those like sort of half dreams where you sort of like suddenly flinch?
Yeah, I get one.
You must get them.
Yeah.
Everyone gets them.
Like, yeah, when people always talk about like falling dreams, and before you wake up,
falling dreams.
And that's because your blood pressure's really low, and your body's going, "Shit, probably going to die unless I fucking kick."
I had one of those, right? Where I was playing football and my mate Mark Wickens was the other side of the football pitch, and he was surrounded by players, and he had the ball, and I was in so much space right in front of goal. I'm thinking, pass me the fucking ball, and all of a sudden I just went Wickens, which I actually did that in real life. I put my hand up and shouted, Wickens! I was on a bus, Sean. I'd fallen asleep on a bus. And I went, to other people, they just saw me go, Wickens!
Everyone looked at him and went, oh no, he's on drugs. Call the police.
Yeah, and I was arrested. Anyone know any other dream or nightmare stories? No, you
No.
boys a bit quiet.
No.
Good, great. Next question.
Okay. Luke Baldwin says, hey lads, I would love to see Rocket League 2 have a straight-up kart racer mode. Those physics in a kart racer with power-ups could be excellent. Obviously keeping the standard football mode. I can't think of any other way they could justify a full sequel.
He's right. I mean, the physics in that game are completely underrated. It feels great, but who's going to play it? You'd play it once and go, okay, that's a little racer thing, and just be a complete waste of time for everyone. Wouldn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what they could do in a sequel. I mean, I'd like to see golf, as I mentioned last week. But if they could just keep creating those emotes, but is that not going to dilute what makes the original mode so good?
Well, I don't think so, because the new modes they've already brought out, they've barely diluted what Rocket League is.
I suppose you can easily ignore them as well. I mean, I played that. We played that ice hockey one once, and then don't see it now because we don't go in those playlists.
No, and I played that drop shot one a few times, but I mean, if I'm playing Rocket League, I'm playing Rocket League. Like that's it.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have to change. It's an incredible mode. It's like, you know, Tetris had loads of other modes, but Tetris is still, everyone still wants to play the original Tetris, and I think that's the same with Rocket League. That they can keep doing all sorts of stuff to it, but fundamentally, that you know, the original mode is just be the best forever.
Yeah, but I mean, not to shoot him down too much. I mean, there's no point in not trying, but at the same time, I just. It's one of those things that games like, hey, you could do this in this now, and you'd play it once and go, okay, should we play Rocket League now? It's I think it'd be a massive waste of time, but there you go. Okay, cool.
Okay, Ms. Rangers says, hello to the king and his minions. With E3 soon upon us, as what one thing could be announced that would make your E3? So that's the first thing. So what do you think?
I've got an answer.
New Armoured Core, mate. Come on, this is the year. No one knows what From Software are up to. It's probably Bloodborne 2, but it's New Armoured Core.
Do you think they get announced, Sean, this year? Bloodborne?
Because it's been too long since we've heard what From are up to, apart from some lackluster Dark Souls 3 DLC. So, yeah, there's got to be something from them, even if it's just a teaser.
The answer is, of course, Left 4 Dead 3. There needs to be Left 4 Dead 3. That would make my E3.
Definitely.
Just Left 4 Dead 3, done. Yeah. That's it. That's all I need for me to just go, that's the best E3 ever.
I just want one thing. I want Animal Crossing on Switch. That's all I want.
Fuck. Play Animal Crossing on 3DS. It'd be the same thing.
No, it would not, David. I want Animal Crossing on Switch. That's all I want.
It would be the same thing.
It would not.
It would. When have those games ever changed?
Yeah, but then you can say exactly the same thing about Left 4 Dead 3. You can just say it's shooting zombies. It's the same thing.
At least, no, but it wasn't though. They introduced loads of new weapons and new enemies, completely new levels.
Animal Crossing, they'll introduce new stuff to do in that as well.
But like what? Instead of catching bugs, you'd be collecting leaves or some shit. That game was dog shit.
Don't start that, because that's really going to piss me off, because I'll allow you to have the typewriter and stuff like that, right? But you're not digging out Animal Crossing, because
why not?
That just makes me angry.
It's the same fucking shit every bloody time they bring one of those stuff out. It's boring. It's just boring.
No, James, boring if they announce new Animal Crossing for Switch, and they almost certainly will at this E3, I mean, if it's exactly the same as the others, are you going to buy it, or do you feel like it needs to have something fundamentally different for there to be a new version?
I absolutely would buy it. I don't care, to be honest, whether it's the same as, whether it's similar to before. I know I'm part of the problem with that, but I just really like it. It's just something I enjoy doing. But
James,
having said that, definitely they're going to add more stuff to it, because New Leaf has evolved over the time that it's been out, and they've added more stuff to it as it's gone on.
What have they added?
They added there was a whole update that came out. Don't you remember that weird video that there was?
Yeah.
With the guy around the campfire.
I'll ask you a question. What have they updated?
They added like daily tasks and stuff like that, like things you could do. That was one of the things they did. They also no, fuck off. This is ridiculous, right? Just because I happen to enjoy this kind of stuff, right? And it's not like, okay, you're if I started slagging off, like, say, Destiny and saying, oh yeah, okay, you just have to do stuff like you have to collect things, or you've got to shoot a certain amount of people, you're fine with that. But just because it's something like a little bit different,
I would say, well, no, actually, Destiny's got all these nice mechanics that they introduce. I'm asking you, explain. You've just said it gives you daily tasks. What do you do in a daily task? Collect bugs, is it? Is it collect bugs?
No,
Is it go fishing?
It could be like decorate, like your room in a different way or whatever, a different style. Look, just because you don't enjoy that kind of stuff, and you don't, why do you have to like slag everyone else off for it?
I tell you why I've got to do that, because I get reactions like this out of you, James.
Oh, fuck off!
You're far too predictable. Animal Crossing bullshit, and whether it's announced or not at E3 this year, and they show anything or don't, we're going to tell you it did. So you got to deal with that, mindfuck, son.
I'm not going to believe you anyway. Whatever you say, I know it's all going to be bollocks. Which is
brilliant, because if it's real and it was announced, you're not going to believe it.
But even if it's not announced, you're just going to be like, well, so what? It's just on the phones now. We're going to go, yep. And you're going to go, no, that can't be it. Like,
Matt, I know James. His brain is going to be spinning with everything we say. Is that real? No, they'll think that I think that that's real. So that's probably not real, actually. And it will just blow his mind. That's why I think the only way of making this a proper E3 show is just to not lie throughout the whole thing, because he'll just do his own braining all on his own. And even me saying that's like, oh no, don't tell him you're going to do that, because even me saying that's going to freak him out, because that's a possibility now.
Have you ever seen Ghost Hunting with the Happy Mondays?
Wow.
I have.
Because that is literally what James is going to be like.
Yeah, yes. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, you pulled out that out of the back pocket. Boom. All right, next question.
Well, this is continuing. He says, now on to more important things. With Big Brother starting next Monday, do you think Channel 5 have made Big Brother worse or better than Channel 4? And
Hold on, Big Brother starting next month? Is it the celebrity one or a normal one?
I don't know. He just says, I would say Channel 5 have made a very good show. They really know how to put the cat amongst the pigeons. So
They've been morally disgusting, but that's made for a funnier show. So, I do think it's better. Yeah. It's been... I mean, genuinely disgusting.
It must be the regular Big Brother, surely, because it's the summer.
I think it is, and I'm not going to watch it. I don't like regular Big Brother. It's boring. It's all about the celebrities. And then, you know what winds me up is when people go, but they're not celebrities. That's the point. You put celebrities in there, they're all going to get on because they're successful and they're not hungry for fame and time. You put these Z-listers in there, they go mental. It's brilliant. Yeah, I'm all about Big Brother. It's a good show. Popular show. Next question.
Howdy, boys. Half term for us teachers this week. Playing the original Dead Space the other day, I thought the graphics are starting to look quite dated. I also remember being completely floored by them when I first played it. This is not unexpected, as obviously times change and tech grows with it. However, playing Uncharted 4 again, I got thinking that even in 10 years' time, I will still think this is impressive. I hope I've got to the point. But the question is, do you think we are beginning to reach a plateau with graphics, and they finally get to the point where games released today were just as enjoyable, we're all still having a dabble long into retirement? And that's from Adam from Stoke-on-Trent.
Yeah, you should really explain that. Adam from Stoke-on-Trent was the teacher that called us, that emailed in last week. That was, hence the half-term thing. No, yeah, you're falling into the silly trap of just thinking... The games, I mean, you look at some of the games now and you go back and look at some of the 360 games and you think, yep, no, we have advanced quite a bit in this gen. This was quite a big step up. And then when I saw Horizon Zero Dawn running on a PS4 Pro on a 4K HDR TV, I thought, yep, no, forget about it. That is the best thing I've ever seen. It's absolutely incredible, that game.
It's mind-blowing.
It knocks it knocks Uncharted 4 off the top of the best looking game list for me. It's just absolutely stunning.
I mean, his point about will we be able to just enjoy old stuff? I think that's more just a change in attitudes that is happening, where people are more willing to just play old stuff and not get so hung up on how good it looks. Like, basically, we need to get to a point, like, no one listens to like an album from the 70s and is like, oh, it sounds like shit, I don't want to listen to it. It's just not it's not important. It's just characteristics of an age and not necessarily flaws, And I think we're slowly getting there with games, but it's still.
I think it depends, doesn't it? Because stuff that's from like the 16-bit and even the 8-bit era, you can still play and kind of enjoy, but the PlayStation, like the original PlayStation era, and like N64, that stuff has aged really badly. Whereas, the generation after, not so bad. So,
but besides the NES, right? So it's nothing to do with like a 2D, 3D shift. More that they start to realise that it's more, art over power, I guess, is the right way of putting that.
Yeah.
Like if you create a game that looks good enough to survive the test of time, you don't do that, and once technologies move forward in such a big leap.
Yeah, like no one looks at...
You look at N64 games, it's like, whoa, what the fuck?
But then no one looks at Mario 64 and says, oh, it looks like shit now. It's like, it looks fine.
Are you kidding me? Have you looked at it recently?
I think it looks
fucking mad.
It looks fine, man.
No, it's a big... Even I look at I looked at gameplay, because I'm always looking at fucking Mario gameplay footage on YouTube. I looked at Galaxy the other day and I was like, actually, that's worse than I thought it looked. So that's why when I saw Odyssey, I thought, fuck yeah, that's going to be a 3D, like proper HD Mario 3D game. Like, I can't wait for that shit. It's going to look incredible.
So I went back to Galaxy 2 about 6 months ago. I thought it still looked fine.
You're probably right. I mean, I was watching a YouTube video, so maybe it lost some of the quality through that. But what I saw, I was like, oh yeah, that looks a bit rough. But remember, the GameCube wasn't HD at all, was it? So it was never going to look brilliant.
Wait, we're talking about Galaxy,
Hang on,
right?
which one are you talking about? I thought you were talking
Galaxy
about...
was Wii, wasn't it?
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, but Galaxy was what, 520...
540p. 540p.
No, it's 480p, the Wii.
Or 570i, or... who cares?
Yeah, I've already lost any sort of hope of finishing this sentence. Should we just go to the next one?
Okay. The other day, I played through Day of the Tentacle with the director's commentary on. It was quite interesting. Are there any video game special features that you have liked in the past? E.g. making of videos, art galleries, sound tests, etc., or would be interested to see about a game that you like? That's from DB.
It's cheating, but the documentary series that accompanied Broken Age is incredible. I mean, it's cheating because it's fucking massive. It's like it's an entire series, it's not just here's like an hour and a half about it. It must be about 20 odd hours long, all told. That's really good. I would recommend that to pretty much anyone.
The Valve director's commentaries were always pretty good. I didn't like the way that they were activated, but that you had to go and
I thought
click
that
on these
worked.
boxes.
How else would you do it? Other than just like a video?
Well, just I would have preferred them if they were like activated as you went into a room. I mean, it was a game that made it. Like, the first time I saw it was I can't remember. They did it for Left 4 Dead, right?
Yeah.
But they also did it with Portal. Portal was a game where you were spoken to. There was commentary over the full thing, and it was GLaDOS talking to you throughout the game. Have the same system, but with the directors, with the developers talking over the top of it.
Yeah.
That would have felt just a lot more better than, I've got to activate this node now, and then I don't know, it just sort of get a bit detracted away from it for a bit. But yeah, that was. I mean, I loved that stuff. I loved it.
Yeah, I wish more games did that.
Yeah. What was the one that did it recently? One of Sean's style games.
Gone Home had a commentary, if that's the one you're thinking of.
Did I listen to
not so
Gone
recent
Home commentary? Might have done. I don't know. But that stuff's pretty cool. Always like that. Better than the old days where or the PS2 era where they seem to have like all these extras and they would just, the artwork, right? And it just showed a picture on the screen and you were like, all right, mate, Metal Gear Solid 2 had loads of that shit, didn't it?
Yeah, that had
this
a...
is what Snake
that came with like an actual documentary, though, didn't it? It was like an hour long or something. It's pretty good, I thought.
Was it?
Yeah.
I just remember the drawings. Just thinking, what the
There's a
fuck
lot
is
of
this
that
on
as
the
well,
disc
yeah.
for? Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Okay, tweets. If you want to tweet us, it's at ComputerGamePod on Twitter. Adam Black says, which minigame in a AAA game would you like to see get its own full game?
Captain Toad on 3D World. Is that AAA? Are Nintendo games considered AAA games?
Yeah. Probably. The good ones.
I don't know why I would discount them, but for some reason in my head, AAA games is like, Call of Duty and fucking me.
Yeah.
You know, that sort of shit. But yeah, I can't think of any.
No.
They're all shit, aren't
Yeah.
they? Next question.
Okay, or is it SMW? Always get this wrong, but what games would Microsoft have to show at E3 to make you want Scorpio day one? For me, none. But, you know, I can't think of anything that they want that would make me want to buy one, because I don't have a 4K TV. And whatever they're going to show is probably going to work on the original Xbox One, so I don't really care.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the point of Scorpio or PS4 Pro. I think they're not going to come out with these system sellers anymore. They're there for when you're ready to upgrade, or if you've got the money to just upgrade as and when you wish. The sort of market's changing, isn't it? They don't need to come out with exclusives anymore because they know that everything they bring out will probably work on the older machines, and eventually you'll upgrade to these new systems, right? Am I right?
Yeah,
sounds about right.
but if you know what games are they? Would they if they showed a particular game? If they showed Left 4 Dead 3 and it looks incredible in 4K, but that had loads more features in Scorpio than the Xbox One, would that not make you buy one day one?
No, because that means
I'd
I'd
buy
have to
it on
spend about
the
£2
Xbox One.
on like a new TV and a Scorpio. That's not going to happen.
Well, even with a 4K TV, I'm not. Say Scorpio was £350, which it won't be. It'll probably be a little bit more than that. So if Scorpio was £350, I'm not going to buy that to make Left 4 Dead look a little bit better. I'm close to getting a Pro now. I'm very close to getting a Pro because my PS4 is so insanely loud that it's doing my nutting. That's when I'll be upgrading to these new machines. It's not going to happen day one, and there's no game that'll convince me that that'll be worth getting. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Microsoft.
Lost the
I
sale
know you
there.
listen, Microsoft, but
But no,
there's
because
a lot of
I
making
mean,
up
for
to do
me-
after the fucking Xbox One, yeah?
Yeah, Xbox One was such a joke.
because of like the fact that they keep going on before about how it's it's still just going to be one family of like consoles and stuff. Unless you've got like a really good TV, I just really don't see the point in buying one. I don't see, unless they're going to show that it can do something significantly better. But I don't know what that would be. We'll see.
Look at that, James summary.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, I mean,
just folding his arms as he said
I probably will get one just because I'm a mug, but I'm obviously extremely excited to see what they do with Crackdown. Because I didn't play the first one much. I enjoyed the second one, although that it did not review well, and no one seemed to like it. But yeah, and obviously Crackdown was initially shown for Xbox One. Nothing was heard of. It's been and now you'd think it's going to be using all the power of Scorpio. So very excited to see what that does. But
I
yeah,
don't know where you get the money from, Matt, to be quite honest with you. It's fucking insane. All you do is a bit of tweeting. Jesus Christ.
Just work hard, innit? I mean, it's gonna be interesting because I bought my Xbox and I don't really play it and don't really care for it. But I'm obviously interested to see what I do with Scorpio to make it to get me back really. Because I love my 360, I love my original Xbox, but Xbox One's just done nothing for me whatsoever.
yeah. Speaking
Even
of the
exclusives
Xbox,
haven't been that great.
speaking of the Xbox One being not that great, Sean, you were totally right about me buying Titanfall on the wrong console. Because do you know how long it took until I could actually play it
Go on.
from installing? I stuck the disc in, and it took pretty much I think it was about 6 or 7 hours before it was ready to play.
Jesus.
Because it had to copy off the disc, then it had to download like patches and stuff. It was ridiculous. Wrong machine. So if anyone wants to trade a copy of Titanfall 2 on Xbox One for the PS4 version, my game. What's it called? My Twitter handle.
Why did you do that? Why did you get it on Xbox?
I don't know. I don't know why I did that, because they were both the same price as well. It was just something monumentally stupid to do.
It's an absolutely ridiculous decision, James.
Especially because I play so much stuff on remote play, using Vita, and you can't even do that with Xbox. I don't know why I did it, David.
Oh, you wouldn't want to play Types 2 through remote play. That would be awful.
Yeah, I know. It's
but yeah,
probably not fast enough, is it? But even so,
it's alright. We'll still get a few games in. Don't worry about it. Right. Okay. Cool.
Sorry, just to answer the question. If they announce a new Sega Rally, I'll be there day one.
What? Dude, that's mad. Go on.
Okay. Buscalilli says, how important do you feel the single-player content is to a fighting game? Story, campaign, arcade modes, character and lore, and so on.
Zero importance, but if it's decent, then fair game. This is off the back of... What, of a fighting game? Really?
Well, yeah, for me, yeah, because I'm not going to play a fighting game online because I get absolutely rinsed, but I could enjoy a single player of a fighting game like Soul Calibur. So, yeah, for me it's important, but I don't really buy fighting games, but it's definitely an important feature for me.
Sorry, yeah, I thought, for something in my head, they were just talking about a story mode. Yeah, no, I guess it's important. I mean, I did quite enjoy the sort of single player version of the latest Dead or Alive. I spent a bit of time on that. But yeah, I mean, I don't play fighting games at all really anymore. So, and a decent single player game's not going to convince me to go back to it, because I know that the main thrust of those games is to play them online or local multiplayer.
I guess, but I mean, I'm not going to play fighting games online against people who know what they're doing. So if they said Arms did not have any single player content, I would no way buy it in a million years. But the fact it has, that makes me much more interested in buying it.
Don't you think it's a bit different for Arms though, because it's not a regular fighting game?
No, I still class it as a fighting game. It's just a different take on it.
I class it as a fighting game, but what my point is that the reason why you wouldn't go online is because you get absolutely fucking battered, because people are used to these sort of fighting games and they know what they're doing. With Arms, it feels like it's leveling the playing field a little bit.
Well, I don't know. I feel like within a week there will be incredible people that it's just not worth playing against. But yeah, I mean, I love the Soul Calibur single players. Main single player fighting game I've ever really enjoyed. I like some of the old Virtua Fighter ones as well. But for me, it's important.
Virtua Fight was essential to playing single player at times, wasn't it? Virtua Fighter 4, it was, that was a big part of the game. You play it in single player, earn some stuff, learn moves and all that sort of shit, and then you took it online. That was some game.
Yeah.
Was it 4 or 5? I can't remember which one I played a ton of, but one of them, me and a mate from school, seemed to be very, very evenly matched, and some of the fights we had were so good. It was a very good game.
Yeah, I love a new Virtua Fighter.
Cool. All right.
Okay. See, I don't know how to pronounce this one. I really have no idea. Matt, can you see
Graham
it?
TG.
Graham TG.
Okay,
Yeah.
Graham TG, I don't know. My question is, Type Rider is shit. How could anyone think it was anything other than shit?
I mean, he's got a point, hasn't he?
I'm done with this. I'm done with that. I'm not going to try and convince anybody that cannot try and something different. I don't know. Anyway.
What? Cannot try and something different?
No, they aren't trying, don't want to try different things, just want to slag stuff off.
Come on, I ain't going to try and convince you that cannot try and something different, okay?
Well said, baby. Athene Allen
Dr. Farley.
Athene Allen now says, now that the format is dead, what other projects are the four of yous moving on to? Interface doesn't count.
I'm sorry, it's not dead. Because Chris Spann says the format's dead, it's that, if anything, that confirms that it's definitely not dead. I mean, that's just confirmation that the format's doing all right. Let's keep at it. What else would I do? We were talking about possibly, just briefly, doing I might as well say this, right? We were thinking about doing a podcast called I've Never Seen Star Wars, if that hasn't already been used, where I watch every Star Wars film and then ring James up afterwards.
We were trying to figure out how to make it work, but
it might still happen. Because I
should do that.
Should watch them all, but the problem is I don't know who would even be interested. But yeah, it might happen at some point. So that would be probably my go-to project. Matt, you got another idea in the pipeline?
No, I'm focusing on interface.
Oh, there was another one that I wanted
record.
to do as well, called Forced to Watch EastEnders, because I'm sure there are millions of people in this country that have someone in their house that force them to watch EastEnders. So to have a podcast based on people that are forced to watch EastEnders talking about EastEnders, I think that could be quite funny. But that is very early development stages, that one. And what I mean by that is that was a thought I had the other night. That's it. Sean?
Cookery show.
We've been talking about this for a while.
Yeah, I know.
Not happening, is it?
Well, basically, if I want to actually get other people involved, then I need money and I need equipment. Because it's recording two people in the
here
kitchen.
Here it comes.
Yeah, so patreon.com/Bell's Kitchen. Yeah, no, it just turns out it's a fucking nightmare. So I'm thinking, once I've had a kid and the breakdown really kicks in, I'll just do it on my own, in my own house.
Mate, the only thing you're going to be cooking is microwave meals for like 2 years. Did James and Matt, did you also have about a month's supply worth of frozen lasagna in the freezer after the baby was born?
No.
Which one?
God, we had so many people bringing over lasagna that we had to just like freeze which one. we had so much lasagna in the freezer that oh my God, it took us about a month to get through. By the end of it, I just never wanted to see it again. Never wanted to eat lasagna. I mean, it makes sense because it's easily microwavable, tastes decent. You just cut up a little portion, and you're not eating together for a little while anyway because your time, your clocks are all over the fucking place. But yeah, I got sick of fucking lasagna. Nightmare. Okay.
Come on, James, are you doing it on purpose?
Yeah, that was on purpose. Anyway, Jay Walsh says, what are your thoughts on the Lego games? I play them with my 5-year-old son. I'm hooked.
Never played one.
You're not?
No.
Holy shit. They're good, man. I mean, they vary. The original Star Wars ones were excellent. They were just really smart. Anyone can get to the end, but then you go back and you play through them again. You can switch characters on the fly and do weird puzzles and stuff. Really clever. And they've basically just done that ever since. We talked about them quite a lot, didn't we? About a month or two ago.
Yeah, I think we did. And Lego Worlds you talked about.
Yeah, I mean, that's different. That's a bit nuts. That's the sort of Minecraft thing. But yeah, there's fuck all wrong with the Lego games. They're alright. There's just a lot of them.
James, you must have played loads with your kids, right?
Yeah, I played the Lego Star Wars ones with Rachel. She kind of enjoyed it, but I don't know. They just always feel a bit repetitive. Is the only thing, but that's maybe just me.
Yeah, I've never played one myself.
Okay. Squeezy
What I'm
cheesy
doing
Pete.
now, Sean, is I'm just standing back and seeing if James is going to naturally sort of pick up the flow of the show.
I just did. That's
and
why I
know
just
where to
started.
move
That's why I just started on the next question, and then you just interrupted me.
Matt was trying to fill it a little bit, but go on.
Squeezy GTP says, "Hello, chaps. Are there any games you expected to dislike but ended up loving?" For me, for me, it's Dark Souls.
Yeah, same. Dark Souls was the ultimate one for me. I went in thinking that I'm going to fucking hate this and liked it. Also, people, you forget how much I hated the idea of playing Mass Effect before I started playing Mass Effect 2.
But then how often...
And then there was like, whoa.
How often do you actually put time into a game that you expect to dislike? How often do you buy a game that you expect to dislike? Like, it has to be something really exceptional that people won't fucking shut up about.
Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Mass Effect 2.
Yeah.
Titanfall 2. Yeah, for me. It's,
Did you actually...
You're not expecting to like it?
No, I know I probably will do. Yeah.
As soon as it installs.
Fucking better. Yeah, anyone, Matt?
I mean, I didn't. Like I said earlier, I like Crackdown even though no one else did, and I thought, well, I know I missed out on the first one, but I'll try it. And I was pleasantly surprised by that game.
Yeah, I just couldn't get into it. Well, it didn't feel like Crackdown to me for some reason. Okay, Sean, anything for you?
I probably Resident Evil 4. Because I...
Really?
Yeah, because
You
I just never
like
did
it?
Resident Evil, and it took a lot of people being like, no, this is different, it's fucking amazing. And I was like, oh, all right. Wii version came out, so I was very late to the party even then. And yeah, obviously it's one of the best games ever made. Who knew?
Did you look at the cover and go, "Oh, there's a man with a gun, shoot you bang"?
Yeah, it's got a chainsaw. I'm scared.
Let's make this last one. We'll fall in pieces.
This is the last one, and it's by Cheddies, and he says, probably late, what upcoming Switch game are you most looking forward to? Splatoon, for me.
Really? Are you being serious?
No,
Are you definitely getting it?
No, in terms of like what's coming next, that's what I'm looking forward to. Obviously,
looking forward to the next game.
Obviously, overall, it's got to be Mario Odyssey.
Of course it is. That's the one we're all most looking forward to. I mean, that's the only answer, right? Is it? I mean, is anyone even going to challenge that?
No. It's Mario.
Of course it is. That game is. I'm so pumped for that. It's unreal at this point. I can't wait for that. God, they're going to delay it, aren't they? It's going to get announced at E3. Oh, sorry. Please understand. Oh, fuck off.
They couldn't possibly.
We'll see.
All
right, okay. That is the end of the show. Matt, what do you want people to do this week?
Well, you can follow us on Twitter. We're at Computer Game Pod on Twitter. You can email. It's thecomputergameshow@gmail.com. We're also on YouTube. All our episodes go up each week on YouTube. And we've got a Discord channel as well. The tweet and the information to get to that is pinned to the top of our Twitter account. So just look for it there. That's it.
This week on David Wants Free Shit, I'm still waiting to hear about a PS4 Pro. Although I realised that my DMs weren't open, they are now open, so you can contact me for delivery information. Thanks for living it. We'll catch you next week. Next week is a very special show. All right, Matt. Chill out, mate. Next week is a very special show. It's our E3 predictions week. So, yeah. I'm going to have to start thinking of something because I've got nothing.
Have we decided on the format? Weren't we going to check what we did last time? Has anyone done that?
Well, we're going to have to do news.
Yeah.
And feedback because loads of people are going to be, emailing in and fucking, wow, your show's great and all that throughout the week. So we're going to have to put some time aside for that. Yeah. I don't think we're going to do what you've been playing. We're just going to do predictions. Cool. And then I guess listener predictions?
Oh, yeah, that'll work.
But I don't...
I mean, they might all be rubbish, but then so will ours, so,
Well, the problem with doing that is that we might see them, we'll definitely see them before we start recording, and that, they might guess things that we're already guessing.
Shit,
but now that I've already said it, and this is going out on a podcast a week before, they're definitely going to do that anyway.
Don't send them
send
yet.
your predictions in. Wait for my first whistle. I just send your predictions in. We'll read them out. All right?
What?
Are we done?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
We're done.
Cool. And the gang. I'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.